if we see what our country is capable of going into other countries, which the CIA has done, and absolutely,
never.
Yeah, that's interesting that you would promote all this equality and all this stuff, and you just assume that the only reason why we think the way that we do is because we Cambodia. And the answer is you're probably fucking right. But don't say stuff like that.
But don't say it out loud.
Don't say it out loud. That's not right. But
is our food is and it's causing dudes to be stupid.
Him and I had our first session of Muay Thai today. Muay Thai, which is the opposite of un poquito Thai. Absolutely not, dude. If your wife has a compound fracture because of, something she was doing in the backyard that you should have been doing anyway because you're the dude that was supposed to be out there getting it done, and her leg has severed her splintered, severed her femoral artery. You get the fuck out to the gym.
Listen, the ambulance will get there.
That's right.
You sitting there isn't going to do it.
It's not going to make anything any faster.
It's not going to make anything any faster.
Apply the tourniquet and move the fuck on. Welcome.
Recce Rifle Bill.
Welcome to the 2A Procast.
You remember when that fucking wave hit the gun world? When Recce just hit the fucking...
Dude.
It was Recce or bust.
It was just everything was Recce. Recce.
Dude, if you're not Recce...
You know what's funny? I will shamefully admit this, and this is probably something that I shouldn't admit.
That you didn't know Recce stood for recancinance?
Yeah, I've never heard anybody call Recce. I've just never heard it. I've never heard Recce used as a substitute for recon before. Like, why don't you just call it recon?
Recancinance, dude.
Why is this recon?
One of my favorite memes of all time.
I don't know.
Came out of that small era. And it was a dude poking fun. He was like, you all call it Recce because you can't spell recancinance. And so that's just been stuck in my brain rent-free. It's not reconnaissance, it's recancinance.
Ladies and genitalia, welcome to the 2A Procast, where today the chicanery and the debauchery are on full tilt. Today we're discussing some stuff. We're talking about being dangerous. We're talking about violence, and we're also going to discuss the counter arguments by people who don't like the Second Amendment. And we're just going to kind of go through these things one at a time. I got a little listus right here that we're gonna poke at. We're gonna poke the holes in the.
It's like a little shopping list.
Yeah, it's a little shopping list, and it's for us to be able to poke the holes in the theories because we want you to be able to. Not that you wouldn't be able to on your own. I know you're grown-ass adults with your own opinions, your own values, and certainly your own education, where you would be able to stand there and on your own 2 feet at the next cocktail party.
Your own 2 tootsies.
Your own 2 tootsies and defend the Second Amendment rights like any good neighbor would when Bob invites you over for the barbecue. But this is, it's good. It's going to be good because we're going to go over each item and why it is. We're just going to poke holes all through it. And hopefully those that have tuned in that are like, what is this 2A Procast nonsense about? And you believe that the Second Amendment should be repealed. Maybe we could change your mind.
The Second Amendment to be repealed?
Yeah, I don't know.
Get rid of the Second Amendment.
Just get rid of it.
Oh, wait, you were talking to the other crowd. Sorry.
I'm talking to the other crowd.
I blacked out.
Well, we were tired. And we are tired because today
we had ravenous lovemaking.
Today we had ravenous lovemaking on the mat.
Yeah. Let's talk about fitness for a
second.
Let's open it up.
Talk about fitness.
Let's talk about fitness.
First of all, it's my favorite pickup line. You into fitness? Fitness dick in your mouth. It's the greatest line ever.
So good.
3% of the time, it works every time.
Are you from Mississippi? Because you're the only Mrs. Piss I'd sippy.
Jeez.
That's always a good one.
I used to know so many good ones. Yeah. You've been out of the game for a while.
Did you fall from heaven? Is that how you fucked up your face?
Is that how you fucked up your face?
And my favorite of all time. Nice shoes.
What?
That's it.
That's nice. That's good.
Hey, I like your shoes. Anyways,
there's
fitness.
The classics though. Checking the tag on the shirt.
What?
You've never heard that? When you check the tag on the girl's shirt, you reach over and you say, "Can I see something real quick?"
I'm pretty sure that's rape now.
You go, "Just what I thought. Made in heaven."
Oh, nice.
You like that?
That's smooth.
Yeah. And then there's the God, if you guys know any good ones, slap those bitches down in the comments. Don't slap any bitches. And they're not bitches. They're put your pickup lines down in the comments. And what's another good one? Did you wash your pants with Windex? Because I can see myself in them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, those are nice pants, but they'd look a whole lot better on my floor.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or here the
I'm not wearing any panties tonight.
I'm not wearing.
It always gets the eyebrows when you tell the ladies that one.
Would you would you like to voluntarily come back to my place tonight? And then you wait for the answer. Because if not, there's always rape. No, is that not? Do you guys not do that? That's all right. All right, just checking.
These are jokes, everyone.
Just checking.
We're both happily married men.
Okie doke. What? Okay, so yeah, fitness.
Fitness.
What's been cool about the journey that him and I have been on? I encourage anybody that is having a problem fitness in
Having a problem doing the fitness.
God, I'm a child. We are children. Anybody that has an issue with just holding yourself accountable, what's really cool is if you grab, that buddy, that battle buddy who also wants to do the thing, grab them and you tell them, and you just kind of make an agreement like you and I did that said, even when we don't feel like it, we're going to do it. In fact, even when you feel like you should, when you feel like you don't want to is the time that you need to do it the most. I mean, that is like generally when you have to do it the most.
Same with crime.
God, I don't want to do this thing, or I really want to eat that thing. That's when you probably should not eat that thing. That's when you probably should do the thing when you don't want to do the thing. It pays dividends.
Self-control, man. It's unbelievable.
It's pretty fucking amazing.
Just
I really
willpower.
I wanted ice cream last night. I ate kale and chicken and avocados.
I'm proud of you.
I had. Yeah.
Fucking
I
proud of you.
really wanted to go. Because the thing is, guys, is I don't stop at just one Twix ice cream bar in the freezer.
No. It's 8.
Believe me, I eat 8.
Oh, yeah.
I will eat 8
know.
Twix ice cream bars.
That's
and
me.
then 4 Oreo cookie
love
sandwiches.
Sweets,
Like,
love that shit.
Yeah, there's no moderation with me, dude.
No.
I've got 6 gear and stop.
Really quick, slight divergence from the fitness conversation.
Go ahead. Just keep talking.
Just keep it together, Dines. I think one of the biggest lies, not lies, but one of the biggest fucking mistruths. I'm dumb. Misnomers, maybe.
Did I kick you in the head too much today in Muay Thai?
Probably, dude.
I've just kick him in the head once.
I've been kicked in the head way too many times. Why do we eat sweets at night? That seems dumb. Why wouldn't we have like our sweet treat, like ice cream, in the middle of the day?
Well, especially before you work out.
Right.
A lot of people like eat a handful of gummy bears right before you hit the gym.
Right.
I mean,
get that blood sugar going.
Yeah.
But like, you still have the rest of the day.
Yeah.
To kind of like burn out that sugar from your system.
Sure.
Where instead of having ice cream before bed, where the sugar just sits in your body and then makes you fat.
Right.
Or just makes you not feel good.
Yep.
It's just crazy. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why we do it, but we do.
We do.
That is it. It's dessert.
Yeah.
But why doesn't dessert at not dessert time?
I don't know.
These are the questions.
I would say every time you crave sweets, just do something else. Like
yeah. Well, most of the time, actually, when you crave sweets, your body is craving oils. Did you know that? Like healthy fats?
No.
Yeah.
No. So,
but back to fitness.
I've done a lot of things in the realm of working out and exercise, and I would say that the stuff that you and I are doing lately is actually more impactful and I feel so much better than I ever have.
I feel so good.
So I used to obviously lift heavy weights. Obviously, look at you. I used to try to get as big as I could and lift as heavy as weights as I could. And
it feels good just to pick up heavy shit.
It does. Yeah. It feels great. But then I started transitioning because that's allowed now in 2024, especially California. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
The transition started going towards everything from heavy weights and then bringing it into more of I'm going to work out for 30 minutes. I'm going to work out hard. I'm going to do circuit training. The weight's not going to be incredibly heavy, but I'm going to exhaust myself as much as possible. But no matter how hard I worked out on my own in the gym, even for 30 or 40 minutes and never stopping, I I would be hard pressed to really break a good sweat, to get that drenched sweat. That's why my hair's all crazy right now because of what we did today.
It's okay.
So
That's why I'm wearing a hat.
to that,
right?
yeah. I mean, it was really cool. We did, him and I had our first session of Muay Thai today. Muay Thai, which is the opposite of un poquito Thai. So Muay Thai means very much like a lot of Thai. And poquito Thai means just a little bit of Thai. Just a little bit.
That's the same language.
But it was really good. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, after
Muay Thai is fucking
towards
great,
towards the end when you start sparring, dude, I was gassed.
Yeah,
I was gassed, but it was a good workout. I was sweating profusely, and it's exactly what we needed. It was a lot of fun. So,
to the guys out there,
forward to it.
yeah, to the guys out there who like, we get this question a lot, and it's a great question, and I'm happy that you guys are reaching out and that you want to get into fitness.
Yes. Yeah.
But the question that comes up a lot is, how do I start? How do I get into it? How do I stay consistent?
Oh man, you know how to? Okay, go ahead. You.
And it's a super simple answer. You get a buddy, like Jake was saying earlier.
Yeah.
You get that battle buddy. You get that homie, and you go, "Hey, this is what I want. Do you want this?"
Right.
And you find the person that's like, "Yeah, dude, I want to get in good shape too."
And then you talk to him and you say, if I don't feel like doing it, will you make me do it anyway?
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do it, can I tell you you're going to fucking get up and do it anyway?
Yeah.
Right. And then you hold each other accountable. Like you walk and you can go knock on their door, give them a call and say, it is time now.
Yeah.
Right.
We
And
agreed
then when
on
they
it.
say,
We're
nah,
going.
I'm actually not, like, I don't give a shit, dude. Get your stuff together. Otherwise I'm not doing this with you
That's
anymore.
right.
Yeah. And you hold them accountable.
The only reason they're not going to do that workout is if Gam Gam needs them, dude.
Yeah.
Because if Gam Gam needs you, you got to be there.
You got to be there.
Got to be there. Anything else?
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Helping your friends move,
No.
driving them to the airport.
Wife's giving birth? Not worth it.
Absolutely
No.
not,
Your
dude. If your
workout is
wife
more
has a
important.
compound fracture because of, something she was doing in the backyard
The
that you
ambulance-
should have been doing anyway because you're the dude that was supposed to be out there getting it done, and her leg has severed her
It's
splintered, severed her femoral artery. You get the fuck out to the gym.
Listen, the ambulance will get there.
That's right.
You sitting there isn't going to do it.
It's not going to make anything
It's not
any
going to
faster.
make anything any faster.
Apply the tourniquet and move the fuck on.
Go to the gym, get lost.
But a great thing is, okay, so check this out. So I was it's been a while since I've done like rucks and just ruck marching in general.
Right.
But the first action that I could have taken was just to do a small one. So
Right.
I load the little dude, the little ruckus,
Little ruckus for a ruck.
my little 2-year-old up for a ruck. And I just went and jammed around the neighborhood at first.
How much is he now?
I
Like
probably
90
walked
pounds?
a mile or two. What's that?
How much does he weigh now? Like 90 pounds?
Dude, I swear to God, he's 2. I think he's like 40 something pounds.
He's a big kid.
He's a big kid.
Not a fat kid, though. No, he's like,
Yeah.
he's big.
So it's not a ton of weight.
No.
What I'm carrying is, probably a couple pounds of water. The rig itself is like 5 pounds, and I got my sound. It's probably like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
What I got.
That's a decent
So
weight.
I'll start stacking more weight in the back of it as time goes on. But right now, that's what I'm dealing with, and I'll go out now. And it started from me going out 20 minutes, and then I worked it up to 30. And now I go out for an hour to an hour and a half. Oftentimes I'll be out there wrecking for like a full hour and a half in the mornings, and it feels really good. So, it's about start small. So if
really
you're
is,
talking
dude.
about like mountain biking, you don't have to go mountain bike the entire trail.
No.
You can go out 3 miles and come back because
You can go out a mile.
Yeah.
If that's all you can do, that's what matters.
How do you start exercising?
Yes, sir.
You just walk out your front door and start walking down your street.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally starts there.
Like if you're
You'll-
400 pounds, dude,
Yeah.
you're 400 or 500 pounds and you're like, I need to get back and go for a walk.
Yeah, man.
And no one's going to be like, that's not shameful.
No.
We all start somewhere.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it when I see overweight people running down the street.
My favorite.
A lot of people make fun of it. And I'm like, dude, if anybody needs to be out there and getting it done, like you see these people shaming other people on social media too.
That's just because
Where
they
they'll be
feel
like,
bad
look,
about
look,
themselves,
look at
dude.
this asshole, like trying to, there's this dude, I wish I could find him. And if I can, we'll put it in the podcast, but he's this like skinny guy and he may be trolling. I'm not really sure, but I don't think so. He seems really serious. This kid wakes up every morning.
Mm-hmm.
He's super skinny. The dude's probably 18, right? And just a young buck with his, in an apartment, and he loads a lot of his own weights up in this little wagon. He wheels it down to the gym, and every morning he works out and he records the entire thing. Dude, the amount of hate that's on that dude's IG is insane because he's not lifting heavy weight. He's trying to do the exercises properly,
Right.
but everything is very, very lightweight. He's a very small guy. His whole goal, and he talks
Wasn't
about
he
it,
a streamer?
I'm
Or
eating
isn't he a
this.
streamer?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what his background is. I could definitely find him.
He's like
because
got the blonde hair.
He's got blonde
Yeah,
hair.
I think you showed him to me.
Yeah, I showed him to you, right? So just a lot of people talk shit. It's crazy because like not one person's like, good job, man, keep it. Not one. The entire thread is just like
I need to get in
thousands and thousands of comments of like hate from Finland, hate from Canada, sending hate from Georgia. Dude, just people just dropping in how much they got.
Dude.
Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of things that he says. I won't drink water because I don't like water. So instead, I flavor my water. But then everybody's like, why wouldn't you just fucking drink water? Well, look, dude, the kid's not. Here's the point of that message is
At least he's exercising. He might be dumb, but at least he's
I'm not good at
exercising.
drinking just plain water. So what I do is I take flavored electrolytes and I put it inside my water. Whatever, dude.
I mean,
so you're
grow up and drink
Is it
water.
better than like bottles of Coke every morning? It's, grow up and drink water. I totally get it. But like the thing is like, you would think that somebody that is attempting to do what most people are probably not even doing yet, they're sitting back and talking shit,
Dude.
is just, I don't know, man. Like, and that's, good for him for being brave and doing the thing. But what matters is this. If you're worried about people judging you, well, don't put everything on social media, I guess. I don't
Also
know.
that.
Yeah.
But also too, like it's a huge wave nowadays. There are so many just unhappy people, man.
Yeah.
There's so many unhappy people and misery loves company and they
Yeah.
want to make you unhappy.
Yeah.
Because they're not touching grass. Maybe you're proud of something. Maybe they're not proud of something. Maybe their dad left. Maybe their dad's never proud of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like there are these people who just want to shit on everything. And it doesn't matter. It's like these guys are unhappy. And we focus way too much on like when we get those comments or like as human beings, when somebody talks shit, we're just like, and it's like, hey, dude.
Yeah, you immediately go back to when you were a child and like your uncle would lock you in the cage and
Yeah.
did that not happen to you?
No, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It was weird.
You didn't like
it just
that?
came out.
It was a it was a fun game.
Some people pay good money for that nowadays. Yeah.
With the clowns?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's just like, be the stoke people need in the world. Like you see somebody exercising,
Yeah.
great, that's awesome. You see something on social media that you don't like, you don't have to comment and let them know that you don't like
How much
it.
you hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
didn't Forrest Gump say that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all?
I think that could have
Something
been
like that.
probably straight from the Gump himself. Yeah.
Straight from the Gump.
Straight from the Gump. But mixed martial arts is,
Dude.
as of right now, is just absolutely fucking amazing. I get that feeling like when I used to wrestle in high school where it was, you're just absolutely gassed at the end of the practice. And it takes everything out of you.
Let
It's
me
fucking amazing.
let me speak to this for just 1 second. I've been doing a martial arts since I was a wee lad. To all you gentlemen out there and ladies, I think ladies should do it honestly more than men, but
Probably.
to everyone out there, go do some sort of martial art, whether it's fucking Tai Chi
Yep.
at your rec center, whether it's karate, kung fu, BJJ,
Yep.
Muay Thai, whatever it is, boxing, doesn't matter. Go find a good teacher. Just do it. It's going to unlock something you've never understood about yourself before. It's going to teach you self-discipline. It'll teach your kids self-discipline. Dude,
Breeds a lot of confidence
It
too. 'Cause
breeds
you were even
confidence.
after the instructor was done with us. Nolan and I were just practicing kicks, and like the more I was able to kind of nail down the proper technique, the more confidence it gave me, and it felt really good to like understand like, oh, I see what I was doing wrong, and I fixed it fairly immediately because I was just doing that one thing over and over and over, and it just felt great. Something super simple, but
being capable in your own body
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Like what's crazy is a lot of people will see something like a fighter or a gymnast or X, Y, or Z, and they'll be like, oh, wow, that's cool. I wish I could do that.
you can.
Dude,
You just find the local
you can.
find the local gym
Yeah.
and see if they offer the classes and then show up, because one thing that I noticed while I was there is everybody was very capable. Nobody was, there that, but I mean, the reality is I don't know how advanced those guys were.
Right.
Nobody seemed like they were, doing things that I wouldn't be able to do,
Right.
throwing punches, kicks, knees, elbows, like things like that. It just all seemed very, some people were most definitely better at it than me. Sparring that other dude. Did you and I spar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. That was the first one.
Yep.
And then we went on to the second opponent. I mean, that dude was, he was, he didn't know how bad I was, and he didn't know how, I didn't know how good he was.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty apparent real quick, and he started scaling it back
Yeah.
a little bit. Right. But everybody starts somewhere, man. And everybody in there knows that everybody starts somewhere. And the cool thing about
nobody's going to judge you in that studio.
No, not in
pumped.
martial arts. Everybody's pumped that you're there. And most guys, especially in places like that, there's a lot of humility in there. And I don't think that, a good coach or sensei or, whoever's leading the course is not going to let that happen anyway.
No.
They're not going to.
No, they crack down on that pretty hard.
They're not going to allow for that shit. So
yeah.
So
because they remind them real quick where they were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So enough said about that. Other interesting developments. 2A Pro course is live. The Build a Business and the Second Amendment thing that we're doing, and it's fucking going really well. I just had a 5-hour office hours yesterday. It was
Jesus.
5 hours.
Cheese and rice, dude.
Maybe 4 hours and 45 minutes. It started at 4 and it went until 8:45 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of questions from the students. Everybody's doing really good. Everybody's
That's awesome.
like moving forward. Some of these dudes have
really good ideas.
Good ideas, and they've got product already, and they're moving forward, and they're actually starting to make money as of this weekend. And if you guys want to get involved in that, if you want to be a part of it, I invite you in. It would be really cool to have everybody build, if not a full business in it, but a side hustle. And we show you exactly how we did it at Tacticon. So it's been a total pleasure being able to. It's a labor of love being able to get in there and help everybody. And the course comes with we build a fully built website out for you. We show you exactly how to source your products, how to contact suppliers, how to leverage our manufacturing, the white label for you, how to leverage this thing that we've got that's 10K in 10 days, and it's not a gimmick. It's like an actual real thing that's proven that you can earn $10,000 in 10 days, and it's all very good. So if you guys are interested, the 2A Pro course enrollment is open, and it's open now, and there's a link down in the description. So get in there before I close it, because I will be closing it one of these days. Because I've had some people that are just completely inactive, and I keep saying I'm going to close it, but then I just check inactivity. And some people get in and they don't do anything. And so if I've got people not doing anything, I'm going to let more people in.
Right.
Bottom line, people that want to be active. So anyway, that's all I'll say about that. It's really fucking cool. It's pretty amazing.
Can we talk about where we're at with 2apro.com?
2apro.com, I'm working with, so I finally found 2apro.com is a marketplace. Now team.2apro.com, that's a link that you're going to see. That's the course. That is the community where
That's the business course.
The business course. And the cool thing is it's actual community. So it's built kind of like a Facebook, but it's not on Facebook. It's built on our own software where everybody interacts with one another. There's like a news feed, activity feed, direct messaging, all that stuff. It's really cool. And the course, even the coursework, the pre-recorded videos are all built into the same thing. And we just started on an app. So we got
sick.
Yeah, so we got the app started, which should be cool, the downloadable thing.
Nice.
So 2apro.com.
But 2apro.com
is the marketplace, and 2apro.com. The marketplace is going to be a completely nonprofit where you can go on. It's basically the Amazon for guns, and it's the Amazon for the Second Amendment. And the reason why we don't,
it's like Amazon and Etsy kind of had a baby.
Yeah, exactly. The reason why you don't have to compete with Amazon or Target or Walmart, Target Plus or Walmart.com or any of these sites that allow third-party sellers, meaning you having a product going on and selling on their website, you don't have to compete with any of them because they don't allow anything from the Second Amendment. Anything. You can't sell magazines or body armor or any of that stuff on Amazon, and anything AR related, even a wrench. An AR wrench is not allowed on the platform, right? So what's cool is we don't have to compete with them, but we can basically duplicate the entire process. And after I read Bezos's book on how he built Amazon, I figured, why can't we do that for the Second Amendment? But the key way to do that is to allow all the orders to come in, to create a bottom line where you're generating profit, but then you're taking 100% of that profit, which is what we're doing at 2A Pro. And we are feeding that back into the Second Amendment. So as of right now, what we would be doing is taking the profit from 2apro.com and then sending it over to the FPC or the GOA or somebody to represent our Second Amendment rights. And then hopefully one day we have our own
our own group doing that.
Group doing that with our own group of attorneys where we can really manage where the money goes, because you never really know where the money goes, which leads me into another interesting conversation that I had from a member from the NRA.
Really quick, can I interject on 2apro.com?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's not running yet.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
almost there. So you can't buy anything on it yet. It looks like you can buy stuff.
Yeah.
Don't, because we'll have to call you and be like, hey,
I need a credit card over the phone.
yeah.
And it just becomes a pain in the
It
ass.
just becomes wonky. So, but if you're interested in selling on 2A Pro, you can get that started. You can get that process.
You could sign up for a seller
You
account.
can
and
sign
all
up
that,
for a seller account, get that rolling, and then once it launches, you'll be alerted. And
Yeah.
then-
Yeah, you can get going
then we
on
can
that.
start
It's
running
just you can't really get a whole lot of
you can't buy anything yet.
can't buy anything. You start like listing your products and kind
Yeah.
of getting your storefront set up and stuff. But it's just a real big pain in the ass. And the reason why it's a pain in the ass is because we've the banks, like, you know, this industry is very difficult in general. It's a tough process.
Nerds don't like this.
No, they don't. Banks don't like this. Underwriters don't like this. And so it took a really long time to find a banking institution that was willing to do the third-party transactions for firearm-related stuff on the site. And there's no precedent because nothing like this exists until now. And there was normally the banks will go off of some sort of precedent, like, oh, there's this thing. And because they have that thing, we're able to take that model, see the statistics on it, how many people are
Right. If you
doing
were to
X,
open
Y, and
up like
Z.
a supermarket.
Right.
Right.
They could say, oh, this is a supermarket. We have plenty of data on this. There's no data on this because it is novel, which is good and bad because just as soon as I thought I was done with the tens and tens of thousands of dollars that we've invested into this project, another $20,000 bill came due to put in the software for the payment processor that is going to allow it to do this. It is just a fucking nightmare. And it's
a labor of love.
More and more expensive, but it's going to be cool. It's going to be worth it.
Because
nothing, if it's hard and it's difficult and I want to quit, which I do often,
then you just
I
put it
know
in
I'm
your
doing
mouth.
something right.
Oh, yes.
Then I just put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's one of those things, man. It's, you can buy stuff and your dollar goes directly back to the Second Amendment, which is sick.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so, I mean, it really is
And the
amazing.
Second Amendment is the only thing keeping the rest of our rights around. So
That's right. One cool thing about it too is like I look at it as like the backwards tax from it's like the opposite tax.
of the syntax.
Yeah, it's the sin tax that they have on firearms. So it's like the 11% manufacturing excise tax that's been around for a long time. Most people don't see it.
So we charge a 50% tax.
Yeah, but the 11% excise tax for manufacturers, it's built into every firearm you've ever bought.
Yep.
Most people don't know that, right? There's already that. It's federal. And then California is doing something else where they're actually employing another 11% tax on top of that.
22%.
So it's going to be 22% starting July 1st, coming up here in about a month. Communist Republic of California, where the way it reads is that they're going to take the money and they're going to use it for gun safety. But gun safety, by their definition, is just putting it into gun regulation policy. So they're going to use that money to continue to strip the rights away from people who want to bear arms. And that is just super unfortunate. So how do you answer that? Well, 10 to 15% commission is what is earned off of 2apro.com from, being able to have the marketplace. So you sell something for $100, we keep 10 to 15 bucks. And then you get the rest. So if your product cost is $30 or $40, for example, like it costs you $30 to make the product, you list it for $100. You would sell it on the thing. 10 to 15 goes to 2apro.com for facilitating not only the marketplace, but the transaction and all that, right? Boom. And then you make the profit. You as a seller still keep all the profit. Your profit is kept. That's not fed back into the Second Amendment. That'd make it really difficult to own a business.
Yeah.
It's kind of the opposite tax. So it's kind of like sending it back the other direction, where every purchase that's made, it gets fed back into the protection of the 2A.
That's pretty fucking lit, sister.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's
So-
cool. So, and then we're, going to be running through, you and I discussed the other day, running through a product line that would, possibly 2A Pro like product line, where every product inside the actual 2A Pro product line is
Just full pack.
just fully packed in, like the profits get donated directly into the 2A as well.
Hell
So
yeah, dude.
that is our mission. That is our labor of love. And like, I've had a lot of people reach out about like the 2A Pro course that are like, I don't get it. What's the catch? Like, what are you doing? Like, this seems too good to be true. Why would you give away all your secrets? Why are you unveiling the entire curtain behind your entire company? And it's because I'm not going to be around forever. A lot of people are going to be around for a long, There's nothing.
We
I'm
have
not-
at most 40 years more.
Bro,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like it's just it's something that the mission is more important than me protecting the trade secrets that I have in this company. And the more people we can help get into the industry, the better off the industry is going to be.
It's almost like the world will get better if people just help people
yeah,
instead of trying to be the only one of something.
that's right.
There's 7 billion people, 8 billion people now on the
Yeah,
planet, dude.
yeah.
Like we could all use a little love.
The more you give, man, the more value you add,
Right.
the more you get. It's weird how it works, and I may not have any idea how it's ever gonna be repaid.
I've
back
never
to me,
felt
right?
bad buying somebody food.
No, absolutely not. You're paying for goodwill. Like when you see a guy on the side of the road and he's asking for $5 and you give him the $5, what he's selling is goodwill. Everybody's selling something, right?
Right.
And so what he's selling is goodwill. Help me out, right? Help me out. I need a thing. And what's interesting about sales in general, I know I hope I'm not boring anybody, but I had a really, really interesting case study that I listened to from a guy, Simon Sinek, and some people may or may not know who he is, but Simon Sinek is he's basically a business consultant, and he was talking about the spirit of giving and just how important it is, as we all know. And he had a exercise where he was able to like quadruple a homeless woman's profits simply by changing
Her sign.
her sign.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. So he, her sign says, now we've all seen the homeless sign, right?
Anything helps.
It is, the homeless signs are usually, veteran, homeless veteran,
Single mom. Yeah.
with 15 kids,
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? They want the veteran vote. They want the children
the sympathy
vote.
card.
They want the
pity sympathy.
maybe they surround themselves with pets,
Right.
And so now
I need to feed my dog.
They've got the pet vote, right? Got a disability. Now they've got the disability vote.
Right.
Okay.
I use
So,
all of them when I'm on the corner.
Well, a lot of people will pack all those into one sign.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to appeal to somebody. It's a typical sales technique. But what that sign says, as he describes, is me, 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 right? I am homeless. I'm a vet. I have 15 kids. I have all these dogs. I can't feed them. Me, me.
But what about you?
What about you? So
about
he
you?
changed this woman's sign to say
Interesting.
all the things that was saying, and what he changed it to was simply this. Now, what she was making was about she would stand out there for 8 to 10 hours a day, and she would make $20 to $30. Right?
Interesting.
Her entire day was built on about $20 to $30. When he changed the sign, she made $40 in 2 hours.
Oh.
So she exceeded her entire day's wages
in 2 hours.
2 hours. And here's what the sign said. It said, because you want to appeal to somebody's ability to make the decision of whether or not you have to talk to them as far as what is somebody thinking when they're going to donate, when they're going to give, $5 or
Right.
$1 to the homeless person. What you're doing is saying, I know I can't give everything and I know I can't give a lot, but I'm going to do it this time, right?
Right.
And so what he did was he changed the sign to say, and I hope I don't fuck this up. It's something I might be paraphrasing here, but it's, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Okay.
It's not. It was if you can only give once a month, please think of me next time. That's what if you can only give once a month, please think of me next time.
Interesting.
And with a simple sign change in the same environment, the same corner, the same woman, the same town, it went from 20 to 30 a day to $40 in the first 2 hours, and then she left. Because she decided I only need $30 a day to live on. I made 40, I'm gone, right?
Now she doesn't have to sit out there for 8 hours. Dude.
I know.
That's a good work day.
It's like, God damn, though. Then that 8-hour day, that would have yielded, what, $160?
Doesn't
You'd be hard
matter.
pressed to make that in a lot of places,
Doesn't
tax-free.
matter,
So, just kind of an interesting story about the power of giving and then appealing to somebody's emotion when it comes to that. Because what happened was you've acknowledged that they can't give all the time.
Mhm.
They may only be able to give once a month. And you're giving them the choice of saying, just think of me next time you do it.
Instead of asking for it.
Instead of asking for it.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's
What
cool.
a fascinating thing.
I know, it is. A little psychology. A little psychology behind
Well,
it.
psychology.
Yeah, very cool. But without further ado,
No nuts, no butts, no coconuts.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a call with an NRA member.
Yes.
That was interesting.
You received a donation call.
I received a donation
Please,
call,
explain.
which I normally ignore the donation calls. And this time I opted to actually pick it up. I was very curious to see what this individual had to say. And I was more concerned with asking my own questions. So, hey, we'd like to know if you want to donate to the NRA, right? I would be more than willing to consider it. Can you answer some questions for me? He says, sure. And I said, can you tell me how you can be certain that the money that I give you today isn't going to end up in somebody's pocket to where they can go and buy a yacht or a helicopter or a mansion or all the things that that dude from the NRA ended up doing and misappropriating the funds from the NRA. I said, is there anything you can tell me that would, or any proof that you can give me that the money that I give you today is not going to be spent on things other than the Second Amendment? And he goes, oh, well, yeah, we solved that problem. And I was like, awesome. How? And he was like, well, you can like Google it. You can look it up. You can see it. And I said, I know I could do that, but I'm on the phone with you and you work for the NRA. So it'd be really cool if you explained to me exactly how this is done. And he said, well, there's systems put into place where, the money that you give is definitely going to go where it's supposed to go. Awesome. What systems and how did you guys employ those? I mean, I don't have the details on that. I said, that's fine. Is there somebody that you're working with that might have the details on where this money is actually going to go once I give it to you? And he said, yeah, can I put you on hold? No problem. So he left me on hold for 30 minutes before I hung up the phone.
The death hold, dude.
Yeah.
It's the death hold.
He just went on to his other calls, I think.
Yeah.
I think he just put me on hold and just started
Put you on
calling other
line
people.
3 and just left you alone.
That was it, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Because he couldn't answer the fucking question of where the money is going to go after I give it to you.
Well, it's going to go into buying more jackets
And I
to
told
get
him
more donations.
And I said, oh, that's what he was saying. He kept trying to sell me on a jacket. That's what it was. He was like, well, with the donation, you get this jacket. And I said, I don't care about the jacket, man.
I don't want the jacket.
I don't want the jacket. I've got plenty of jackets.
Got some nice jackets.
Yeah, my jackets are fine.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd rather you not send me a jacket and just put that money into the Second Amendment. If I'm going to donate, I don't want a jacket. I want you to take all of that money, 100% of it, less the salary that you're making right now to make this phone call, and put
fight
that
the
into
2A
the
fight.
2A. Yeah,
Yeah.
fight the 2A fight. Would you please not send me a fucking jacket? And he goes, well, it's a nice jacket. And he just kept talking about the fucking jacket, dude. And
I think he was
said,
more mad that you didn't want the jacket, if you think about it.
Probably. And I said, hey, there's got to be a way, man. There's got to be other people other than me who have asked this question, who have posed the question of whether or not their money was going to be spent in the right place. And he goes, yeah, it's been a concern. We've been asked. How do you answer it? Just say that we do. I said, that works without proof?
Yeah.
Because that's a problem the first time, right? The money was getting distributed into your funds and into your bank account, and that money was being misappropriated. So where are we going with this? Anyway, so put me on the death hold, and that was the end of that. So that's, as far as I'm concerned, fuck the NRA still.
Until you can prove me otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy. Everybody makes mistakes.
Right.
Institutions sometimes get a bad apple inside of it that do bad shit, and
There's
they're
bad
more
people.
welcome to turn it around. But man, you got to get your guys on the phone that are able to explain that shit away or offer some proof. So
Yeah,
that's my
absolutely
experience
truth.
with that. Yeah.
So let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Okay.
Let's talk about being violent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Domestic violence. No.
Let's talk about being domestically violent.
Let's talk about being dangerous and violent and why, like, a real, not history lesson, but a real deep dive into the importance of the Second Amendment. I know we talk about it a lot, but the importance of the Second Amendment, why it matters to everyone, why it matters to our rights in general, because this, like I said earlier, the Second Amendment is the only amendment that can protect the other amendments.
Right.
Because if you don't have a Second Amendment right, your government can take away all your other rights. Because the only thing, I'll get the quote here in just one second, but the only thing that can stop somebody from forcing you to do something is force or violence.
Yeah.
You can't appeal to the crackhead trying to stab you
No.
with good words. You can't be like, oh, honey, I see that you're really upset and you want some crack, but what if you don't stab me? Could that work?
Yeah, what if we get you into a program where we can kick this habit?
No, it is force and violence, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure there are cases where potentially you could maybe talk him down.
Sure.
There's anomalies in the world.
There are.
But a surefire way, a sure as shit way, is force or violence. Now, that doesn't mean killing the guy, but that does mean being able to match that and stop the threat.
Right.
I'm going to get the Rash Jack quote. 1 second.
Nice. Yeah, and I think that plays into is it important for us to be violent? I think it absolutely is, and I think the more we get into a kind of modern society, the more frowned upon that actually is. It's not it's almost not cool anymore to be. I'm not saying you're not cool because you got a black belt, but it used to be. Do you remember when that was like the thing? Right? When we talked about if you just look at pop culture back in the day, I mean, pop culture used to breed this kind of like masculinity. It's cool to be, the Sylvester Stallone and Rambo and just go rip everybody up. It's cool to be the fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme and Bloodsport, just tearing everybody up in the dojo.
What happened to that?
Yeah, what happened to that?
What happened? Where'd that go?
We don't do that anymore, right? We don't glorify that. What we do now is, it's the softer side. You said something that was really interesting today about soy boys. You wanna elaborate on that, on the soy boy theory? Or?
So much on the soy boys. Let me read this quote, but yes. Okay. So this is from Starship Troopers.
Okay.
I like the movie. Get over it.
It's a great movie.
A great film.
Casper.
And it has a great line.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a book. But the teacher teaching the high school students, he says, when you vote, you are exercising political authority. You're using force. And force, my friends, is violence, the supreme authority which all other authorities are derived.
Yes, it is. 100%.
Because when you break it down to the macro level, right? When you break it down to just that 1 + 1, if somebody doesn't want to do something, and you want them to do that thing, the only thing you can do is force them.
Right.
And how do you force somebody to do said thing?
Right.
It's with violence.
Exactly. And that's why I don't know of any tyrannical governments who have gone in and say, you know what, I am going to use my
everybody
words.
Please do it.
Please do this.
Please,
thing.
guys.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, let's talk about soy boys for a second. Back in the 80s, the 90s, Rambo, Stallone, that's the same person. Arnold, all these guys, bodybuilding in its fucking prime, and it was cool as shit to be an alpha badass, right? Alpha, I say in quotes.
Yeah.
But to be an absolute fucking man's man who's just an absolute savage when they need to be. Well, today what you see is you have a push of weak individuals, of males who don't understand how important controlled violence is, contained violence, being able to be an absolute fucking monster, but being able to hold it back.
Right.
Because I think it was...
And a woman's attraction. You said something really interesting.
We're getting to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe it's from Jordan Peterson. He said, a weak man being good is not virtuous because he has no other choice.
Right. Yeah, I got it.
But a strong man, a man capable of extreme violence. Now, obviously, like we're taking firearms out of this because a weak man can grab a gun,
of course,
and commit terrible things. He can also grab a bomb or a knife.
Got it.
Right? We're talking about the virtue of it.
Got it.
But a strong man being good is virtuous because he has the capability to do otherwise.
Right.
And so female attraction in this. We have this push of men who are becoming feminized, a huge feminist male movement, which I'm not talking about female rights here. What I'm talking about
we're also not talking about real men wear pink, like that type of shit. We're not talking about the colors that you wear.
Fucking color you want.
Nothing to do.
I don't give a shit.
It has nothing to do with that. Yeah.
What I'm talking about is dudes who can't stand up and say, I need to knock this motherfucker out. Yeah. I need to stand up for what's right. It's not having a code. It's not having a set of of moral responsibilities. It's not having that internal testosterone, that violence to be able to go, you're doing something wrong and you got to fucking stop. And so women, what's very interesting about this is, you guys have probably seen it. You've been on the internet. You'll see a smoke show. You'll see just this gorgeous girl and she's with some floppy dude.
I know.
And you're like, what the fuck is
I know.
Either his bank account is huge or something else.
I know. I think about every time I look at your girlfriend, I'm like, what are you
Me
doing?
too, dude.
What are you doing with this guy?
What is this smoke show
doing with me? No, I know. I know.
I love you, baby. You're gorgeous.
I know what you're saying, though.
But there have been studies that have been done on this, and it's very interesting. The chemicals and the hormones that are in birth control, when it's taken by the female, it makes their body feel like it's pregnant. Hence why you cannot impregnate a woman when she's on birth control. 99% effective, right?
Right.
But what that does is that makes women, from that hormone, the hormones that they're releasing, because their body thinks they're pregnant. They're releasing pregnancy hormones plus these synthetic hormones that they're taking in. It makes them desire less dominant males. It makes them desire less aggressive males because they're thinking to themselves, I already got the seed.
Yeah.
I'm already fertilized.
Right.
I don't need the dominant male.
That internal clock is basically going, we're good for now.
Yeah, we're good for now.
Just need someone softer, someone like me.
I just want the empathy.
I just want the empathy. I want the soft guy. I want the...
Which is why you'll see a large trend of females who, when they get off birth control and they're with maybe a softer male, they'll either break up with him or cheat on him. Because they get off the birth control, they flush it out of their system, and then they're like,
oh my God, what is this? What is this beta doing in my bedroom?
Dude, that guy over there that looks like he could throw me over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just a part of nature. Women want, no matter what they say, I'm sure women do want empathy. They want someone sensitive. They want to be able to talk to someone. But they also want an absolute fucking monster.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies.
No, I mean, I just had this conversation with my wife where I was like, I was trying to get the more, I was going towards the more, I used to be a lot like bigger, more muscular than I am right now. And I've turned off I'm going to eat like 8,000 calories a day and like lift really, really heavy in the gym and do all these things to get bigger. And I'm just going to try to get healthier. I want to feel better. And with that, what happened just organically is I became smaller, but I can run faster and I feel better in general. Right. And my wife not too long ago said, you're losing too much weight and it'd be, you know what I mean? She said, don't get too skinny. Like that's not what's going on here. Right. Obviously, she would love me anyway. And she made it very clear, but she's like, she's never once really talked about, she's not one to compliment. If anybody is familiar with Punjabi culture, Indian culture, she's not one to come out and be like, babe, you're sexy. And I love your muscles. And I love this about you. And I love that about you. They're very quick to say what they don't like. And, when she told me that, I was like, I never thought that meant anything. I never thought that you wanted me to be bigger, right? In general. And she goes, I mean, yeah, like that's why the physical attraction was initially there when we first met is because you were like, a bigger dude. And I was like, so you don't want me just to be like shredded and smaller? And she's like, no, I want you large and powerful. Right. And I was like, oh, I never knew that. And she was like, well, yeah, like you should have just figured that out because that's the guy that I was initially dating. Like, why wouldn't you think that I fucking like that, And I never really understood that. So it's a thing.
It's a thing, man.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Women want capable men.
Yeah.
Women who aren't on birth control want capable men.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's literally, she's like, well, I'm going to, I start sleeping with my trainer until you figure this shit out. And I was like, okay, better get on that fast. Where's the D-ball?
But this kind of really stems around that controlled violence idea. And let's bring that to the Second Amendment. A lot of anti-Second Amendment advocates, they don't understand the necessity for that controlled violence. They don't understand why anybody would ever, they say want to hurt someone. And I think that's a big confusion. I think that's a big thing that they don't fully grasp because they're looking at it from a stance of, I can't be violent.
Yeah.
So why would you ever be violent?
Right.
And it's like, well, I can't paint well. I'm not looking at the artist going, why would you ever fucking paint, loser?
Yeah.
Just
right.
because other people are capable of that. And that's how we've made it this far as humans.
Right.
So like those males or females who are not able to grasp that, they don't understand that like I said before, the only thing keeping the monsters at bay, the human beings that are willing to do horrendous things, which is another thing they commonly forget, is how horrendous human beings can be. Listen, I want to live in a world that's all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
It's just not what we have.
No.
We have to accept that there is bad and there is good. And we have to prepare for the bad by being able to
execute violence.
Execute extreme violence when needed. There's a difference between being violent and being capable of violence.
Right.
Right? If I were to walk up to you and just shove you and be an asshole, that's being violent.
Right.
If I'm standing in front of you and you go, oh, this guy could fuck me up, that's being capable of violence, right? That's the perception of that guy can handle himself.
And that's why when you see the dichotomy of, man, this is a really nice guy, but he's fucking huge, right? People like that, right? It feeds well. I mean, you look at
the nice guy that could fuck you up.
Yeah, exactly. And like a good point of that is when they show like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or something playing with his 2-year-old daughter.
Right.
He's in there and he's playing Barbies.
This massive
human being, and he's dressed like he's got his little apron on.
He's got the fairy wings.
He's got the little fairy wings on because it's the dichotomy of this is a massive, powerful, going to rip your face off human being.
Like a silverback.
Now he's like a silverback, but he's having a small, delicate tea party with a 3-year-old, young woman, right? And we love seeing that because that means he's exhibiting peace, but he's capable of violence.
Right. It's what Tackett talks about all the time, the dangerous dad.
The dangerous dad,
I love seeing fucking dangerous dads in public, dude.
Absolutely.
When you see that dad who's on, like he's paying attention.
Yeah.
And you see him and you're like, that guy will rip your face off.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole like, I'm going to snatch that kid and throw him in the car and like drive, like those dudes, they'll see you coming before you even, you know what I mean? Before you even think about that, because their head's on a swivel, they're paying attention, they know where their kid is at all times.
That guy will pluck your eyes out with his mouth.
Yeah. And we've all seen him. Yeah. And we all know. And when, what was really interesting is I think you and I were talking about this not too long ago, not on a podcast, it might've been on our phone conversation yesterday, but there was a really interesting study. We did talk about this yesterday. It was where they tested whether or not somebody would, they took a career criminal and said, would you attack this person?
Right.
Would you attack that person? And everybody that walked by carried themselves a little differently. The guy that, had his shoulders down and his head down and was looking at the ground and wasn't paying attention to he went, that one. I would pick that guy right there. I would rob that guy. Right. Or I would rob his girlfriend, or I would do whatever it was. Right. Or I would take a child from that dad if that was, if he had a kid with him. But the ones that were just upright, shoulders back, walking, paying attention, looking left, looking right, didn't even have to do anything. Could have been the same guy, different posture, different gait, different cadences he walked, and he was observant. And, he was paying attention to his surroundings. That's the guy that the criminals actively said, I wouldn't attack that guy. Could have been the same dude.
Yeah.
Right. And it was just based on how he carried himself.
Right. That jogged my memory. There was another one where they took a convicted pedophile and they asked him the same thing. They were like, what do you look for? Because they're trying to figure out. What do you look for? And like, what do you try and stay away from?
All this. Yeah.
And he goes, capable
parents.
fathers.
Capable fathers.
He's like, that's what he's like, if their dad looks capable,
that's right.
I steer clear.
Yep. That's it.
Because they're weak individuals. That's what you got to remember. People who go out to do malice, they're pussies.
Yeah.
They're fucking pussies. They're ball sacks. Sorry.
And what's interesting is it happens more often than not. And it could be anybody. It could be somebody on drugs that's like, freaking out in the court. We've all had to walk past the individual on a sidewalk.
And if you haven't, you should experience it.
It was losing his fucking mind. And when you're walking with your girlfriend, it says a lot about you. And they, you know, because, dude, predators pick up on this shit. They've got that intuition. So
and humans are predators.
And you're walking down the street with your spouse, you're walking down the street with your kids. And if you're on the sidewalk with her and you're on the side of the road, which is probably where you should be walking, but the guy is on the other side, not on the other side of the road, but on the other side of the sidewalk. And it puts you in a position to have to switch places. So if you do that and you say, you know, you kind of grab her, you move her over here, you get her away from the dude that's losing his fucking mind, the threat, and he's clearly making eye contact, trying to figure you out, trying to size you up. Whether he was going to do anything or not, you could tell that they become a little more docile as you approach if you're paying attention, if you do the thing. Now, what would happen if you didn't? Is he actually going to attack you? Is he going to rob you and your wife?
Who knows?
Who knows? But I can, you know, I am certain that there are times that I haven't always done that. I haven't always been paying attention, and they act up. Right. They say something. They say something to her or something to you, and they push the buttons.
Right.
But if you just maintain some sense of don't do it, I'm going to fuck you up. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It doesn't, but you always have to be able to back it up. And that's why it's important to like train and be physically fit, because look,
you can't always shoot a guy, dude.
No,
you can't always just shoot.
Sometimes you just gotta, you know, just
sometimes
get
you gotta throw hands.
Yep. So
I'm not advocating for fighting,
but
I'm advocating for fighting.
We're advocating for it, right? And having the confidence to, and do you just pretend like you have that confidence? No. If you,
because you get fucked up by the tweaker.
Right? if you're physically fit and you're able to carry yourself to the point where like, look, I know that if something happens, I'm going to be able to handle this situation. The confidence organically comes. Right. It's just part of it's par for the course.
Right.
So
it really is like, it's the next, you as males, and I am speaking directly to you males at this point, you are the next generation of warrior. Whether you join the military or not, you're the next generation of warrior. You're the next generation of your bloodline. Fucking, you gotta uphold that shit.
Yeah.
Like we're only able to live comfortable lives because we have a power grid and you can go to the store to have food.
And I think that's really what the problem is with people understanding or accepting the fact that we need violent individuals who are capable of violence but are not going to be violent until it's necessary. The question that you posed before, which is like, well, why? Like, why do we need this? Why do you need to be violent? It's that question is posed by people who are just inherently comfortable, that just don't understand that we're one decision, one president, one bomb away from everything changing and that not being a thing anymore.
Dude,
it's just everybody's comfortable, man. We're just so
somebody throwing the
we're so cozy
at the fucking power grid.
Right.
It's just it's a flick of a switch, dude.
And that's the terrifying thing about the world that we're in right now, as far as like, we just take that to another level and like outside of just the individual man being capable of violence and what we need to be doing. But it begs the question. It's like, when we talk about Second Amendment and the right to bear arms and the things that we should have, we've also got to talk about the things that we shouldn't have, you know? Dude. And, if I had another,
I got a thing at the top of that list.
Yeah. If I had another life to live, like knowing what, we know about, thermonuclear weapons, it is so, like, if you really think about how fucking dangerous of a world we live in right now, and I'm not talking about the guy mugging you on the street. No. I'm not talking about like a country potentially invading you. I'm talking about superpowers with a finger on the nuclear button, dude.
Psychopaths with the nuclear football.
It's fucking crazy how close we are just to ending human life as we know it. Nuclear weapons have like, and us in this podcast aren't going to change anything like yet, right now with what we're doing. But if there was one thing, if there was one thing today, like off the top of my head, that I could snap my fingers and change, I would eliminate all nuclear weapons off the face of the fucking earth. Just like that.
Dude, yeah.
They should not exist.
The knowledge of it, just
knowledge of it, gone. Should not.
Nope.
Well, we won't have nuclear energy. Fucking oh well.
Big fucking what? We'll figure it out.
Yeah, that type of shit is just absolutely terrifying to me. And if anybody doesn't think we're in a fucking Cold War, we are in a Cold War. Like, we're in the middle of it now. It subsided. That Berlin Wall came down, and then everybody's like, "Ooh, ooh, everything's fucking cool
Except the
again.
Cold War
Everything's
didn't
fine.
end.
What's that?
Except the Cold War didn't end.
No.
It's still going,
Here's a
Bob.
problem, and I think I'd be remiss not to talk about this, right? Because we're very much, we sit here and we tout being Republican, Democrat, having our beliefs, doing the thing, but we also have to acknowledge like where our leadership, even those that we may have voted for, has made some really, really significant mistakes.
Dude.
And I am personally, this is a bold statement,
Bold.
but looking at the history and kind of how Putin came to power and his authorization, essentially, lack of authorization, but his willingness to go into Ukraine and do what is happening right now in Ukraine, we set precedent for that. So what we put ourselves back into a Cold War position, because when things started getting kind of good, I'm not going to, Afghanistan is one thing. I think that we had absolute right to retaliate, under the assumption that was actually, it's a whole nother conversation.
It's another conversation for another day.
Afghanistan, I think we can all agree, okay, that shit had to happen.
Based on the information that we were told at the time.
Based on the information that we were told on the time, something had to be done, and that is a thing. But Iraq, dude, that changed everything for the Cold War. That changed everything for the end of the Cold War. Because when we went in and we invaded Iraq, under the guise of WMDs, without the sanction of other NATO countries saying, hey, yeah, this is actually the right thing to do. This is okay. Nah, Bush was just like, no, we're going to fucking do this. Well, what kind of a precedent did that set? What kind of a precedent did that legitimately set? And that, like I said, it's a bold statement. It's probably going to piss some people off, but really think about this all the way through. I want you guys to actually, those of you that are like immediately disagreeing with me, I want you to truly think about this. When Putin had the decision that he had to make on whether or not he was going to go into Ukraine without a viable reason, without any support, without anybody condoning it.
Sounds familiar.
Right? It sounds kind of familiar.
From a conservative president.
So he said the world police themselves are going into a country and they shouldn't have been there and there was no reason for it. And they didn't find the WMDs that was the underlying foundation of the invasion of Iraq. Why can't I do it? Why can't I go invade Ukraine?
Yeah.
Then he said, if you try to stop me, you will see a reign of fiery terror like the world has never seen. Something along those lines, which was the equivalent. I mean, his exact words. Yeah. You have never seen the world. You will see retaliation like the world has never seen. And in so many words, without saying the word, I will push the nuke button. That is exactly what he meant. Stop me, and I will send the nuclear bombs out. Dude. And that is the world that we're in. And that is why, sure, people are like helping Ukraine and like, hey, here's a bunch of money, here's a bunch of guns, but nobody will actually do the thing, which is just go in there and fucking decimate all the Russian military, which NATO could do it if they wanted to, but they don't fucking do it because they know that they're a nuclear power. Hence, we are in a cold fucking war.
Absolutely.
Like, we are still there, except now it's way more fucking dangerous than it ever used to be.
It's not a hydrogen bomb, dude.
Yeah, this is thermonuclear fucking warfare, and this shit will fucking thousands of miles of fallout.
Yeah,
with just one bomb,
dude. We talked about this the other day. Like, Japan's fairly small in contrast to the rest of the countries in the world. It's a small island.
Yeah, very much so.
And it took 2 nukes, and it came back within what, 30 years, 20, 30 years?
What
Japan
came back?
Bounced back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
All the radiation's cleaned up. They're good. They're golden.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
The bombs now, Japan would be gone, and it would never come back.
Yeah.
Think about that, guys.
Yeah, each one of those larger thermonuclear bombs, like if you look, if you guys can go online and just like check in Google Images, like the scale of the Nagasaki Hiroshima bombs as opposed to the scale of what the bomb would look like now.
Yeah.
Just the mushroom cloud and how big it is. And if you look at it at scale, it's exponentially larger. I mean, it is just a massive, massive bomb. And it goes, for each one of those, I mean, you could decimate an entire state or half of a state for each one of those. And there are just thousands of them. They're just like, I think Russia's got 7,400 of them now. It's just some insane fucking number of nuclear bombs.
It's so bad. It's so bad. These psychopaths are like, yep, we need to build these.
Dude. And not to mention, so over the course of since we started building nuclear bombs, did you know we have spent over $10 trillion on our nuclear program, with another $1 trillion slated in the next year or two in the coming years.
Because we don't have enough nuclear bombs.
That's right. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is like our defense budget has slated another $1 trillion towards nuclear development, when we should be putting $1 trillion towards denuclearization, figuring out a
nuclear
way
disarmament.
that we all come together and destroy every single last one of these fucking things.
Listen, nobody wins
but
with
nobody
war.
wants to, because the second everybody destroys it, and then one guy,
and then it's free
like
reign.
Kim Jong-un comes out and goes, "I've got 5, you guys don't have any.
Fucked.
You're fucked."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
mutually assured
I don't
destruction is
trust
the
him.
only thing
Yeah.
that is really keeping everybody alive right now.
it is.
Yeah.
And that's a terrifying world
It
to
is a
live in.
terrifying fucking world to live in. And I'm just, I don't know, man. I think about it all the time, and I'm like, good God, man. That's all it's gonna. And you know the craziest thing? Did you ever hear about? Did I talk about the dude that, the Russian analyst that saved the world?
Oh, because he disobeyed the order? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 To launch the nukes.
Yeah.
They had a.
I pray
they had
every
a-
night that there is someone like that guy in every position
Yeah. So
over the button.
he had the ability to authorize a nuclear launch, or to recommend a nuclear launch, with whatever presiding president was there at the time. And it was just a really interesting thing that their radar, because it wasn't very sophisticated, had picked up. It was just cloud cover or some sort of weather system that was moving, but it looked like there were missiles flying towards Russia, but it just happened to be the weather pattern. And now he saw this and he went, there's no way they would only send 5. If they sent, his mentality was,
Right.
if the United States were to launch nuclear weapons at us,
They would send them all.
where we had them all posted up in places like
Yeah.
Poland and, all
And
of those other
submarines in
countries.
the ocean.
Yeah. He said they would launch them all.
Yeah.
There would
decimate us.
be thousands of them
Yeah.
coming our direction. So 5 doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm not going to do it. And he directly disobeyed the orders to announce if there was some inbound something coming in. And had he done that, and this is the house of cards that we live in right now, right? So the house of cards that we live in is, you just have to make somebody think. I mean, look at all the proxy wars going on. They make somebody think that
It's fifth generation warfare.
It's 5th generation warfare. It's the whole thing. Like, we still do we know, like, exactly who those guys were that went in and started shooting up that Russian opera or whatever it was, right?
We
And then
just
they killed
know what the
174
Russians
people.
told us.
Right. So now,
I don't know about you.
Could this
I don't
be
trust
Russia
my own
doing
government.
that to
I
it?
don't trust the Russian
no,
government.
yeah, Russia going in and doing that to themselves so that they get some sort of like, okay, yep, you're good to go, and go ahead with doing what you're doing.
I've heard that with some sort of trade building one time.
Yeah, a little bit. You make it seem like this set of people did something, and now you have authorization to go retaliate.
Yeah.
Right. And Putin has repeatedly done that to justify his, and Russia in general has repeatedly done that to justify their invasions into Georgia and Serbia and these places. They will stage an attack of some sort, or make it seem like it was done by a particular subset of people, and then gives them right to go in and invade the entire fucking country. So it's just, and where is the line in this house of cards that we live in? Where is the line to where the nuclear button gets pushed?
Right. Where is it?
It's just, it's fucking scary, man. But anyway, enough about that. What I want,
Let's get to these things.
I wanted to run through some of the things that we were going to that I said we were going to talk about at the beginning of the podcast, which are, if you are at a party and the blue-haired creature walks over to you and says, guns are bad, okay? Okay. What are some of the arguments? So I'm going to start with, I'm going to be,
Well, first off,
I'm going to be devil's advocate.
You immediately look at him and say, go fuck yourself. That's how you handle the situation, with immediate verbal violence.
Yes.
And complete, close off any rational thought.
Yes.
You can't convert them.
Nope.
They are the enemy.
That's right.
Because they have differing opinions than you.
I'm right, you're wrong.
Correct.
Period.
And
End
we
of
can
story.
never have middle ground. We can never agree to disagree.
No.
You're obviously a lower life form than me.
It's all off the menu. So here are some arguments, right? So having gun control is necessary because it reduces gun violence, right? Stricter gun control is essential to reduce the high rates of gun violence and mass shootings in the United States.
Well, how does it reduce gun violence?
Well, because I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because you take away the guns. If I were to take away the guns in the United States and we were to eliminate them from everybody's household and everybody that we know has guns, we go in there and we take them away and we prevent people from owning guns, especially the really, really dangerous ones like AR-15s, then we will have a lower rate of gun violence and a lower rate of mass shootings in the United States. What say you to that?
Okay. So couple questions. One, go fuck yourself. You are
Naturally.
No, your plan is to take away the firearms. Your plan is to gun control, regulate,
Well,
take
stricter
them all.
gun control
Sure,
in general and regulating it is essential to reduce the high rates of gun violence. So whatever that means, right? Your 10-day cooling off period, you're not allowed to have a certain type of firearm, your 30-round magazine, high-capacity magazine bans. Like, these reduce gun violence and mass shootings in the United States.
Who does mass shootings?
Typically those who are mentally unstable.
Okay.
Those who have mental disorders.
So you as a male, right?
Right.
Are you going to cut off your dick so rape will stop?
Okay.
Well,
Right.
so let's expound on this. I'm not a criminal.
Right.
I don't ever plan on committing a crime with my firearm.
Right.
Why then would you make me defenseless? Why would you take away my most efficient way to defend myself when we both know that crazy people and criminals don't listen to the law?
Well, it's because the betterment of society, if we just all get together and we all are subject to the same laws, then by definition, we will all be able to protect ourselves. We will all be safer because guns won't be floating around everywhere. If we start controlling who has access to them, how many they have,
how are you
the
going to
capacity of the magazine through laws and regulations.
And what if people don't listen to the laws?
Boom. 2, public safety. Comprehensive gun control laws enhance public safety by preventing firearms from falling into the wrong hands.
Again, how do you prevent them from falling into the wrong hands? We had a prohibition. That didn't stop alcohol.
That's true.
And that wasn't hurting anybody besides for those who wanted to be hurt.
So I'd venture to say that the only people that would be owning firearms or purchasing firearms or getting firearms on the black market are those who are willing to break the law.
Correct. And if you
And the people that are not willing to break the law would be yielded defenseless.
Well, if someone is law abiding and you write a law saying that they have to give up their guns and they abide by said unjust law,
Okay.
because law does not equal morality, then you're taking away a firearm, something that can be used in mutually assured destruction, something that can stop someone who has a firearm
Okay.
from the person who isn't going to commit the bad thing with the firearm.
Right. Noted.
If you take away it from me, but the guy who's ready and willing to do something bad says,
it.
I'm not going to give it up.
Right.
Well, now you're putting officers in the line of danger.
Yep.
You're putting me in the line of danger. You're putting yourself in the line of danger.
Yep.
You're making everybody.
And would you say that throughout this entire process, you would be more reliant on your government?
You would.
Yeah.
You would be
Why?
more reliant.
Because you would be relying on them to protect against people who don't listen to the law, who continue to purchase the firearms or continue to find the firearms to be able to use against you, correct?
Correct. So
Okay.
I've got a question for you. How long would it take for me to jump over this table and to start to beat you to death?
A matter of seconds.
Do you think the cops will get here in time?
Probably not.
Mm.
Right. Yep. It's a personal responsibility. And this is what we're exercising.
The police are not here, in fact, at all to protect and serve. They are law enforcement. They
Right.
enforce laws written by lawyers.
Right.
and
Politicians
dirtbags.
and politicians.
Same thing.
Yeah. Tomato, tomato.
Right. So they enforce the law. They do not protect and serve. They're not standing by you.
No, I don't have we don't have a law enforcement officer here in this room. I don't see any in here that are willing to run over here and save my life when you jump over this table.
99% of time, they don't prevent crime.
Right.
They exercise the law and convict criminals. They do not prevent.
Most of the time.
99% of the time.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, what about the modern context? The modern context argument that I would say the Second Amendment is outdated, and therefore it is designed for a different era. It makes it less relevant in today's society with the advanced firearms. We're talking about an outdated document, an outdated amendment, an antiquated system by which when we were going through this process and we were attempting to remove ourselves from the rule of the crown and set up an independent society and an independent government, we needed the guns at that time. But now that we have something established and we are good to go and everybody is safe, is it really necessary anymore?
Well, yes. First, it was written by scholars, philosophers, lawyers, learned men of the time.
Right.
Who had just experienced their government go tyrannical, impose taxation without representation. They were lodging at people's houses, forced boarding. They were doing terrible things in the towns. There was a lot of bad things going on by the redcoats. And they said, we don't want this. And at the time of being written, it wasn't just muskets. There was already multi-shot firing rifles. They were in prototype phases. There were prototype Gatling guns known as the Puckle gun.
There were cannons.
There were cannons. Yes. There were things called men at war or man at war, ships, which had 50-plus cannons on them. There were multiple different weapons of war, and
at the time, would it be fair to say that we are allowed to have all the same armaments or comparable armament to what the government had?
At the time, yes.
Yeah, it was.
Your average citizen, if they had the funds, could go out and buy a cannon.
Right.
Your average citizen, if they had the funds, could hire a private army called privateers if they so desired.
And there was so much thought put forth by these men that didn't say or specify the type of arms. They just kept it general because they knew that there would be advancements. They knew there would be an evolution in armament. And because of an evolution in armament, they understood that armament needed to match those of their aggressors.
To say that they wouldn't have expected advancements is quite frankly silly for a multitude of reasons. One, again, they were learned, they were scholars, they were smart individuals. Two, they were just they were at the precipice of starting an industrial revolution.
Right.
Like, they went from watching bows and arrows to muskets and gunpowder, to cannon development, to massive ships. They were watching it unfold. Do you think to yourself now, no, this is it. Nothing's ever going to get better.
Right.
We're never going to create anything more technologically advanced. Is that your mindset on the things? Do you yourself, if you were to write a law right now on tires,
right,
would you say, well, I don't need to specify rubber tires because they'll never make any other type of tire.
Right. It's a moot argument.
It's a moot point.
It's a moot point.
They wrote a law stating that the people, to keep their right to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. So their armaments, their weapons of war, should not be infringed upon by the government as a whole.
Yet the argument that always pops up is, or the statement really, it's not really an argument, but the statement is, I hunt, I've got a shotgun, I like to hunt, I think it's okay. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to have a single shot, double barrel shotgun. I mean, this argument is, like you said, this point is just moot.
Right.
It makes absolutely no sense
No
because
sense.
that's not what the Second Amendment is for. It's not built
It's not for hunting.
allowing us to hunt.
It's for
can hunt
killing
with a
oppressors.
That's right.
It's that is strictly what it is for. It is for
In
defense.
fact, I would be much more obliged to say if they were to come and say, okay, listen, you can hunt. We're not going to infringe on your Second Amendment rights to be able to,
to hunt.
Well, no,
Oh.
I'm talking about your Second Amendment rights to be able to protect yourself with a firearm, regardless of what that firearm is. What would you say about this? You are allowed to.
Of course
hunt.
I am. I'm an adult.
You're allowed to hunt with a crossbow. You're allowed to hunt with a bow and arrow. You're allowed to hunt animals with anything but a gun, right? But you can keep all the armaments in and have equivalent armaments of of the military, of the government.
That also seems dumb.
It does.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it make a lot more sense? None of it makes sense.
But
I get it. But wouldn't it make more sense to say, look, these are animals. You can kill them with the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Don't shoot them with the fucking rifle.
we know the
right?
animals are going to try and kill
There's
you or run away.
Yeah, they're going to
We
try
don't
to kill
know what the person in government's going to do when he shits his pants.
Right. So my thought is like that argument
Honestly,
is
that does kind of make more sense.
the argument is just so fucking backwards where
Yeah.
it's like, look, you can have a gun to kill an animal that doesn't have a gun, but you can't have a gun that is going to be able to kill the people that have bigger guns.
Well, that's
than
where
you.
that's where it comes back full circle.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
But that's where it comes back full circle, where we have people in America who are able to be communists. That's not a joke. I'm not joking about this. This isn't meant to be funny. This is meant to be serious. We have people in America who are able to, quote unquote, say they're communists, live in a capitalistic society, enjoy the rights of capitalism, say they're communists, try and push communism, able to go out and buy food, live in an apartment, house, whatever it may be. They don't understand the severity and the cruelty of man.
Right.
They don't understand it. And if they do, and they still feel this way, then they're gaslighting themselves.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting about communism, going back to the same thing that you and I were talking about when we were talking about like Russia, like getting back into the same place that they were before with the Cold War and communism and Putin pushing towards the
USSR,
the like reinstating the USSR and getting all these, getting all this geographic property back that they once retained. Is we dropped the ball on that too. So we had this whole thing happen where we finally had a guy, it was, I can't remember exactly who was the president during that time. It was right after Gorbachev. And it could have been, no, it was Gorbachev. And then there was the guy after, it was right after Reagan. This was going into the 90s.
That's right. Reagan
and
said truth but verified.
And they really opened up to democracy. They opened up to, okay, look, the government isn't going to own fucking everything. We're going to allow you guys to actually start making your own money. They basically opened it up to capitalism. But the fucking problem is they had no idea what that looked like. They had never done democracy before. They had no idea what it would take to run these institutions. And they had already sold off all the major money-making machines to the oligarchs. So when all this went down, we had an opportunity at this point when Clinton was elected it was right around that time when Clinton was elected, to go in there and say, let's show them what democracy looks like. Let's help them. Let's provide them with the aid. Let's provide Russia with the opportunity to see like what this looks like. We're going to start opening trade with them. We're going to go in there. We're going to consult for them. But instead, look, I talked a little shit about Bush and I'm going to talk a little shit about Clinton.
I'll talk a little shit about every president.
Clinton went in with a very nationalist mindset and said, we do not need to be over there. We need to protect ourselves. We need to look out for us. After all of this movement and all of this change and all of this this anti-spread of communism, like this is finally working. The people are finally starting to say, I don't care about how hard this is. We want to figure this out from a democratic perspective. That's what the people wanted. Yet they were starving. They didn't have enough to eat. They couldn't feed their families. There was nowhere to sleep. They were losing everything. That it wasn't working. And we had an opportunity to go in there and legitimately help, not provide military aid, not any of that, but legitimately help show them what that could look like.
Political aid.
Political aid, just absolute political aid and consultation of this is how it's done. and help them out, because that's exactly what they were looking for. But instead, we took a very nationalist approach, right? In the very, very crucial time. And I think that was a huge mistake, a very crucial time where that could have transformed the country and they could have seen light, because what happened was they lived in destitution for another 5 years. And then shortly thereafter, then you get, somebody that's a little, a hardliner on the Communist Party gets elected and said, don't see how bad that was for you.
Yeah.
See how this doesn't work for you.
See how that didn't work out.
See how that didn't work out. What you need is the government being able to feed you. And boom.
And when
back
people
into a
can't
communist
feed
state,
themselves,
right? They look to the government to do it. And that was fundamentally the issue. And I don't know how you were talking about communism.
we were talking about communists.
That's why I wanted to segue over to that real quick.
Yeah. But it is, man. It's people who blatantly ignore the violence that human beings are capable of.
Right.
They don't think it's possible.
Yep.
And like I said, if they understand it, but then still don't think it could happen to them or others, it's like, are you gaslighting? That's crazy talk.
It is, yeah.
To know what horrendous things people are capable of, but just to go, oh yeah, that won't happen to me.
It's crazy.
I don't need to protect myself
Looking
against
around
that.
the entire fucking world
That's
and truly
nuts.
understanding the fact that governments disarm their citizens right before they're about to do really bad
Seen
shit.
that once or twice.
It's just like, how can you not take a step back and look at this? How can anybody not take a step back, politicians, citizens included, and understand how important it is to be able to protect yourself, to be able to arm yourself? And I think the more that we talk about it and the more that people hear it and the more that they start talking about it, the better off it's going to be. And I like to think that we don't live in a fucking echo chamber or a vacuum or this thing that you and I are sitting here and just talking to ourselves. I'm hoping that if we say this enough, if we keep beating the dead horse,
Planting the seed, dude.
then more people will go out and start talking about it, because it's plain as day. All you have to do is say, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
The government protecting you doesn't work, because ultimately the government is a selfish entity and they're going to look out for their own selfish interests. And when they start doing that, then the people are in danger.
Right.
Every time.
I'm just saying,
Every fucking time.
I don't see a lot of fucking communists coming from Nebraska who live on corn farms. I see a lot of communists in cities
Oh, yeah.
where they don't have to work hard,
Yeah.
where they have fucking tech jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is just fucking laid
Easy.
out on a silver
So,
platter for these motherfuckers.
If somebody else could take care of this,
Yeah.
why
Hey.
do I need to do it?
Because I walk into a restaurant and my corn is already on my plate.
Yeah.
It's already cooked. The butter is on it. I didn't even have to salt it.
I didn't have to grow my crops. I didn't have to take care of my animals. I didn't have to slaughter a fucking sheep today.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, you were talking about, the kind of the soy boy revolution and like why, okay, if women are seeking softer men because of the whole thing where I'm a birth controller, I'm not necessarily looking for the alpha, a beta will do for now. Well, what drives the beta? What drives us to start thinking about, oh man, it would be really cool if I could just change my gender today. It would be really cool if there was just people were more accepting of just who I am as a person. You don't get to think about that. You don't get to empathize like that. You don't get these creature comforts of whether or not you're going to chemically castrate yourself when you're worried about where the next meal is going to come from.
No, you really don't.
When you're worried about whether the fucking grizzly bear is going to break into your tent and attack you, whether you're worried about whether or not your crops are going to survive for that year, but when you don't have to worry about your crops and you just understand that your government will somehow strike a deal with another nation that'll import the goods that you need at a discount so that you can get that food in your belly delivered on that plate with the butter on it, with the salt on it, and you don't even have to worry about a goddamn thing. And if you can't,
Japan.
that's right. And if you can't afford to buy it, it's okay. They'll subsidize it. They'll pay you to go out to that restaurant to get the thing. Then what do you have to worry about other than, man, I'm tired of being a dude. And I think today I'm going to be a fucking chick, right? And I also want to spread that fucking...
Also, just when your body is riddled full of synthetic fucking estrogen based on all of the soy you're eating, the vegetable oil.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about this earlier. Did you guys know that vegetable oil and cottonseed oil started out as motor oil?
That's exactly
Would you go buy fucking 10W30 right now and just go chug that shit?
Fucking Pennzoil?
Or would you fucking cook with it? I don't fucking think so, dude.
No.
But you have all these chemicals in the food.
Seed oils.
Seed oils. You have literal drain cleaner in fucking Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
And it's fucking not regulated. You go over to like Italy, they can only put manure on their crops.
Yeah, they're not allowed to like Yeah.
That's some government regulation that I can get behind.
Yeah.
But instead, in the United States, we have fucking Monsanto, the same creators of Agent fucking Orange, running most of the farms in the United States and fucking suing other farmers because they'll set up a farm next to them and their soybeans will fucking float over and then they'll sue them out of existence for having their fucking modified soybeans on their farm. My point I'm getting at here is our food is fucked and it's causing dudes to be fucking stupid.
It's the beta proliferation.
Dude, it is. If
The soy boy beta proliferation.
you take away the fighting,
It's turning the frogs gay.
it's turning the freaking frogs gay, which is true. As crazy as that fucker is,
I know.
it's true. But how do you enslave a population? How do you enslave a civilization? It might be a trick question, but
How do you enslave a civilization? You make them reliant on the government.
okay, pull that back just a little bit more. Let's say Genghis Khan. Your tribe's over there. My tribe's over here.
Okay.
How would I enslave your tribe?
I would say I prevent you from getting the resources that you needed to survive, and you need to get them from me.
I would say I would come over and kill all your able-bodied men.
Oh, you do that too?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Your young warrior
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
And then I would enslave you.
Yep. Got
And
you.
then I would say, look at all these slaves I have.
Anybody that was normally able to protect themselves now cannot.
We are a money-making machine for the people in not Hollywood, in probably them too, in fucking Washington.
Yeah.
They think of us as bugs.
Yeah.
We are their playthings. We pay their salaries. The more money that they can drain from us, the richer they get.
That's true.
So do they want strong, capable men? Do they want strong individuals like James Madison and our founding fathers who sat up one day and just went,
No.
I'm going to go fucking kill people?
Yeah.
Like that's pretty harsh. But they
No,
stood up
that's
and
legitimate.
they were like, I'm willing to die for what I believe in.
Yeah.
I'm willing to die because what they are doing is wrong.
Right.
We have a lot of it, but we don't have as much as we need.
Well, the reason why we don't have as much as we need is because everybody's so fucking comfortable. Who's going to go out there and fucking march the streets of fucking Washington and like really do something about it when everybody's just like, it's fine, right? We got everything we need. I'm like happy for now. Everything's
Costco
fine.
just had a sale.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking easy,
Yeah.
dude.
I think the turning point for our country is like that. And I hate to say this because it really is an unfortunate circumstance that a lot of people would have to go through. But I genuinely think that we need a genuine depression. We need a genuine hit to our economy to understand that nobody is coming to save us, and it is up to us to be able to regenerate that economy. And we look to each other for support rather than the government for support, because all that's happening right now is a level of comfort that is not willing to instigate change.
Right.
And that's where we're at right now.
Right.
We're at this level of comfort that will never instigate change. As long as our bellies are full, and our balls are empty,
Yeah.
everything's good. Life is fucking great.
I don't understand the level of trust people have with trusting a government official. And let me explain this with a politician, right? I could walk up to my best friend right now and I would say, "Hey buddy, I just really don't want to work. I don't enjoy work. Will you should pay for my rent and all of my things." My best friend in the world. This man would literally take a bullet for me. Like, he would stand in front of a gun and die for me.
Yeah.
This man would die for me. And if I said, I need you to do this, I need you to take, he would say, fuck you. No.
Yeah. No.
Why would you expect someone you don't know to be like, you know what? I really care about all these individuals. No one is that altruistic.
No.
No one. Not a single human being.
Because there's an expectation for you to support yourself, especially if you're an able-bodied human being. There's the expectation.
It feels bad.
Huh.
I don't like I enjoy gifts and presents. Don't get me wrong. Like everybody enjoys like a gift here and there or something nice done for them.
Of course.
But like when I'm sick and like Carly takes care of me, I feel guilty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like how do people just exist like that?
Mm-hmm. expectation.
Were they not hit enough as a child?
I don't think they just like it's the fundamentals of how we're raising our kids, the things that we have openly and willingly given to people who don't deserve them.
It's communism slipping its way into the public school
It's fucking
system.
communism slipping its way in. You're absolutely right. I mean, these things are happening. When you get shit that you didn't earn, then what else do you expect in a society like this?
Right.
If somebody's going to hand you the thing,
Right.
people are going to take the thing.
Right.
Everybody, even the most, even some of the greatest people that we have in business and in sports and athletes that we've respected and revered and expected more out of, took the PPP loan from the government. There was a lot of them. Why? Why did they take it? Why? Is it something wrong with them? Was there genuinely something fundamentally wrong with the way? Bro, I didn't know anybody and I mean anybody, business doing good, business doing bad, not even having a business, but found access to the PPP money from the government, that said, oh, free money from the government? No, I'm going to be Mr. Magnanimous and I'm not going to take that money. They can have it. No, everybody's like, yeah.
Give me the fucking money.
Give me the fucking money.
Give me the
if you're
money,
just gonna
baby.
give it to me, I'm going to fucking take it.
Right.
And I mean fucking everybody.
Everyone.
Look at all these institutions that are supposedly capitalistic institutions that were like, yeah, give me the money.
What was it called?
People, humans, athletes.
What-
Give me the money.
What was it called?
Didn't fucking I think Brady took a PPP loan too. Anyway, go.
What was the fucking like $1,000 handout that the government gave like 2 or 3 times? What was that called?
That was called the "Please Vote for Me Again" fucking Biden handout. Like, look.
I mean,
what
Trump
I'm doing.
gave us one too.
Look at what I'm doing. I just stupid, dude. That was the.
What was that called? I forget what that was called.
It was the.
They had a name for it.
Yeah, it was stimulus.
Stimulus. I took the stimulus.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
Everybody else is getting it. You have access to it. You're gonna be like, you're gonna give me like $1,500? Sweet, yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I bought guns with it.
Yeah. What did it stimulate?
My loins.
Dude, it stimulated absolutely fucking
Nothing. It actually ruined more things.
It ruined everything because now you've put the country in an even further deficit, further reliance on the government to give you your cheese, and not allowing people to on their own figure out a way to get out of this fucking mess and not rely on the government, because anytime anything goes bad, the government swoops in and says, don't worry, I'll save you. And then when they swoop in and say, you shouldn't have that gun, you shouldn't be able to protect yourself, because we will save you, people go, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it makes sense because the last time I needed some fucking money, you gave it to me.
The government.
So if I need the protection, you'll give it to me.
They literally pour concrete in the well to bring you buckets of water.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to buy it from them.
They will dry your shit up so that
Yeah.
they could look like Captain Save-A-Ho and bring you the things that you need.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I have to pee. Hold that thought.
Yeah. There's just one more that I wanted to
Dive in.
dive into that I wanted to go over. And the one that I wanted to dive into was the most common gun argument that oftentimes you will see people who are referencing other governments, other nations around the world, and they will say things like this. It is the international comparison argument, which is countries with stricter gun control laws have significantly lower rates of gun violence, demonstrating the effectiveness of such measures.
First question. Do they still have gun violence?
I would venture to say that if I were to be arguing this side, I would say, well, look at England. They don't have nearly the gun violence.
Are people getting killed with guns in England? Have people been shot to death?
Yes. Yes,
Then what
they are
it is-
being killed, but they're not being killed at the rate that they are in the United States.
Okay.
So the reason why is because they don't have access to firearms. And if they don't have access to firearms, then all they're doing is running around stabbing each other.
All right. 2 things.
Okay.
First thing. 1, we already just proved that someone in England is capable of getting a firearm and using it in a malicious way.
Right.
So the law didn't stop it.
Right.
So their law, all of their laws surrounding it, stopped nothing.
Right.
It still allowed a criminal to break the law, get a gun, and kill someone.
Yep.
Okay. Second, of course, England doesn't have, even when we compare knife violence, of course, England has less knife violence. We have 10 times the people. California is almost the same amount of people as England,
Yeah.
as the UK.
Yeah. There's
It's more people than Australia.
Right. So when we talk about it, Like, are we
It's a
talking
per
about it?
capita
Are we
argument.
talking about a per capita argument, or are we talking about it from just overall there's more gun violence? But I think the more important question that we ask ourselves is this. If you want to compare yourselves with other nations and to the respect of guns.
Well,
and to
yeah,
the
they already
respect
got their asses kicked by people with guns. Of course they're going to take it away.
Dude,
They know
yes.
their government's trash.
100%. They've already gone through they've already gone through that process of, hey, if it's not baked into the Constitution, we don't have to give it to the people. Here's the fundamental argument that I would have to any American, liberal or conservative, Democrat, any of them is, why compare yourself to anybody else other than yourself? So, for
We
example,
have freedom of speech.
do you look right? Compare yourself to. Do you get bummed out? Do you look at me and the things that I have or don't have, or anybody else in your life, and compare yourself to them? Or do you look at yourself and say, how could I be better? How can I do better? How can I improve on who I am? And that is the argument that I'm trying to make for Americans. If we are leading, and if we proclaim to lead the world both in thought and freedom, then why are we looking to other countries to instill and perpetuate laws that work for them, but clearly don't have any basis in the United States, because we are doing what is good for us? We are not doing what they are doing and trying to implement it here.
Right.
That's a crazy fucking argument to me.
It's a crazy argument. And
when people look at Norway and they say, oh, but look at the way that they've, like organically sustained all of this.
yeah, they have like
growth.
6 people.
Yeah, like they've sustained this growth of their farms because they're growing them vertically, and they don't use this X, Y, and Z. And why can't we just do that? Right? We almost kind of did that a little bit when you were talking about, the fertilization and they don't do it. Well, okay, but they're also not feeding 358 million fucking people. So sometimes you got to get your crops to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
I get that.
We don't have the money to build fucking vertical crops. We have the land to build it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because let me tell you something, Wyoming is massive. You ever driven through Ohio?
Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of fucking room. You know what always, this is just a side note. It always like it's very funny to me when I go into God, man,
I don't even know if
believe
Wyoming
me,
is big.
It's big.
Is it?
Well, yeah. I try not to go to San Francisco. I really fucking do. But sometimes you fucking have to, because like the passport offices are there, things like that. Like you just got to get down there every once in a while.
To go down to that shithole.
Jesus, dude, it's terrible. When you drive in there and you look at the cost of living, and it's like $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 per square foot to live in that fucking city, and
not $2,000 per square foot.
Yes, dude.
Per square foot?
Per foot in some of these places. It's $1,000 a foot. Yes.
I thought you were just messing up your numbers.
No, just up here where we live, you like it, not in the city of Rancho Cordova per se, but just go up the hill 20, 30 minutes. Those homes, a lot of those homes up in like Serrano, some of those fucking things are going for like $600-700 a foot. It's insane. And then you get down to San Francisco and you're talking $1,000 a foot, $1,500 a foot, depending on where it is.
Oh my
so
God.
If you're really in the city and you're up in one of those condos and it's 2,000 square feet, you can expect to pay $4 million for that condo. And that's $2,000 a foot. And dude, I promise you.
No, I believe you.
They're really, and I remember when I looked at those numbers even a decade ago, and I was like, God damn, like $1,000 a foot is crazy. $800 a foot is crazy. Dude, that shit is doubled. That it is. You'd be hard pressed to find anything that was less than $1,000 a foot in the core, in the heart of San Francisco, if you were to buy it. So here's the point: when you look around, right, and same thing for New York, right, and I can't speak for New York, never been through like the countryside or anything like that. So I'm going to talk about what I know. And you drive into San Francisco, and then around San Francisco, you see that some of the hills and the interior of the city, but then you see like right outside, like, I mean, I'm talking about like 10 minutes outside of San Francisco, these vast expanses of land. And all they do is they knock down a building and make it taller. so that you're
Dude.
closer to the interior of the city.
Dude.
You just get as close as you possibly fucking can to the epicenter of what is already a shithole, instead of just being like, hey, why don't we just develop out a little bit?
That way.
Just a little bit. Just that way. Like, I'm looking around, I'm going,
Yeah.
there's just so much.
There's so much
There's so many
more.
places to like put a home or a house. Like, you're going through the city and you see this giant hill and miles of hills, of which there could be homes and condos and apartments on.
People living. Yeah.
Yet it just becomes this. I don't know if it's regulatory things that keep them from building on those. I don't know, but you just wonder why. Like, why the fuck anybody would spend that obscene amount of money just so they could be just a fucking 5 minutes closer into that already shithole of a city.
Dude.
It's amazing to me.
That's baffling.
Yeah. It was just a little side note.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's absolutely fucking nuts. My brain can't comprehend it.
I
I don't like people.
I don't get the allure
Right.
of the Bay Area. And it truly is like, it's just as bad. It's not getting better. It is just
I
as
get the
bad, if
allure of
not
the
worse.
Bay Area back in like the 80s.
It's great. Like, even
From what
in the
I've heard, fucking
I remember
awesome.
even when I was like going down there in the 90s, like, you'd look around and there was this feeling of awe, these big financial buildings and these really clean streets and like the bustle of the city.
It ain't
There's
there
no
no more.
bustle.
No.
There's no bustle. There's a bustle of like multiple crackheads taking shits on the street. I had to cover my daughter's eyes because we were driving through the city and there was a dude running down the street fucking naked. Nobody doing anything about
Yeah.
it. Right?
People just jerking off in the street. Fucking, yeah.
Yeah.
Drugs, crime.
And you know what's the craziest part about that fucking city is that city is one of the biggest hardline cities against the Second Amendment.
And
The CCW permit issuance in that city is nil unless you are a government official that has the right to actually.
I've got something to add to your UK comment. Chicago. It has the strictest gun laws in the entirety of the United States.
Yet
It has the most
Gun
gun
violence.
violence in the United States.
So
It's
obviously,
a people problem.
dude, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It's very apparent that the gun control doesn't work because the places with the least gun control are the safest fucking places you could possibly go to. Nobody's like, man, I am terrified to go to Greenville, Texas. Like,
So scared.
I would just be
Mortified.
I'd be mortified going into any place there because everybody's got a gun.
Nobody says that.
And nobody's ever said that.
Nobody
said
said
fucking
that.
nobody.
Said nobody.
People are like, we probably shouldn't go down this area in Chicago because we're probably
We
going to
probably
get-
shouldn't
the
go to
likelihood-
Chicago.
The likelihood of you getting shot is incredibly high in the same place that they're trying to regulate the fucking guns. So what happens? Like, why not experiment with it? Let's experiment with human life real quick just to see how it goes. Completely deregulate gun control, completely deregulate firearms in that one city, and we'll just see.
Dude.
We'll just check it. We'll let that roll for 10 years, and we'll see exactly where it goes. And who fucking knows?
Who knows?
How cool would that be if, you know why they won't do it? Of course they won't do it. Because it doesn't perpetuate the agenda of Americans arming themselves to be able to defend themselves against enemy number one, which is always going to be the government. They don't want that.
It's going to be against the fucking government.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. God, I love the freedom of speech.
It's in any society, the government is always public enemy.
I would like to remind everyone and these people, the Second Amendment is the reason you're able to say that and not be thrown in a prison cell.
That's right. Yeah.
That's why.
People say it's the first.
No.
And
What protects the first?
so
Violence.
Obviously violence, right? So we're so steadfast against getting rid of the Second Amendment, but why is nobody getting rid of the third? The Third Amendment saying that you shouldn't, like, you don't have an obligation to quarter soldiers, right? Well, why aren't they fighting that?
Right.
Why aren't they just out there just really kind of going for that?
It's because it's scary to them. And I posed this question. I was having a little debate, not an argument. I was having a debate with my sister-in-law. That's what it is. Sister-in-law. I was talking with her, and this was during prime COVID time.
Yeah.
And she's very level-headed, very intelligent. She asked me, she goes, so I've got a couple questions for you on your whole ideology and your thoughts behind masks and vaccines. And I said, well, shoot, go for it. And she said, why would you refuse to wear a mask or to refuse to get the vaccine when it could, potentially be safer for others?
Right.
And I said, your fear does not constitute the way I live my life.
Yeah.
Because you're afraid you might get sick does not mean I need to take precautions for you.
But you can get a vaccine.
But you can.
And you can wear a mask if you want.
And you can choose to not have a firearm.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. If you don't want to have a gun, go for it. The problem is you don't get to tell me I'm not allowed to have a gun.
Yep.
Because I am self-reliant. If you want to rely on the 911 call, that's going to take over 30 minutes to get to you. That's fine. But don't come calling me when there's a problem at your door.
You find that funny that they wanted to regulate so heavily into everybody's got to wear a mask. You're not allowed to be in the same fucking facility, 6 feet away from each other, all this bullshit throughout that entire fucking event that we went through for public under the guise of public safety. Yet heart disease, obesity.
Yeah, we don't get rid of fucking McDonald's.
No.
We don't get rid of Coca-Cola.
Nor should they, because it is somebody's
exactly. It's your fucking right.
Yeah, if you want to drink the Coke, drink the Coke.
If you want to drink Coke until all of your intestines are coated with tar,
go for it. Go for it.
Hell yeah.
And if I
get diabetes.
And if I don't want to wear a mask because I want every single possible pathogen to enter my body.
Right.
Then I have every fucking right to do that.
Yeah.
Just like I have a right to go jump off a cliff. I have a right to put a fucking bullet in my own head. I have a right to do all the things that I can do if I really fucking want to. And there's no reason that under the guise of public safety, you tell me I don't have to wear a mask, when if you're wearing a mask and I'm not wearing a mask, then you're safe in accordance with what they say. You're safe and I'm not. So who fucking cares?
Yes.
Who fucking cares? And do we have a public fucking healthcare system? No. Kinda now. Jesus Christ. We're already aware of it, but if medical care were completely 100% free, and I'm still not advocating for this, but it would even make a little more sense.
Right.
If hey, listen, the government pays for your healthcare.
Right.
Right? Which they don't clearly.
Thank God.
Yeah, right. Thank God. But if the government doesn't pay for my healthcare, and I pay into my own healthcare, and I get sick, and I go to the hospital, then that's my own fucking prerogative.
It's also my fucking life.
Right.
I get to choose what to do with it.
Exactly. So, for us to be responsible for our own healthcare and having to pay the insurance on our own healthcare and doing the fucking thing, and then them telling us that you're not allowed to get sick. What kind of shit is that?
What?
I could almost understand it if they were like, look,
I want to use my fucking health care.
Cover all your I want to use my health care, dude. I pay $1,500 a month between me and my entire family. I want to use it.
Yeah, dude, it's the whole Second Amendment argument, and it's pretty much what most of the people in the Second Amendment group kind of argue for, which is stop fucking trying to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
That's basically all it is.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yep.
Is don't tell me what to do.
Yep.
I'm an adult. I can handle myself, and if I can't, that's my fucking fault.
I want to show the power of people, even in a country who, and I know I keep going back to this. I just had to look up the other president's name real quick, but something really interesting happened in the elections for Ukraine prior to, and I go back to this, and this is really important because
because it's a very culturally relevant thing.
It is very culturally relevant. When you get enough humans saying no in that society, going, no, we are not going to do that, then the government will conform. And when Putin came into power, he wanted to stack the dice, or stack the deck in Ukraine. He wanted to get somebody from his team as the president in that country so that they would conform and be a part of.
Do the thing.
Be a part of Russia. So there was Victor. There were two Victors. It was
always a Victor.
It was
Victor.
It was I think it was Viktor Yushchenko, and then it was Verse. That was the president that was running for the election, and I think it was right around 2008 or 9 against Viktor Yanukovych. Was the other president's name. Now, Yanukovych, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, whatever, but he's the guy that Putin put in, right? and they were poisoning this guy. If you go look at Viktor Yushchenko's face as he got farther into the elections, you see, dude, he becomes sick. He becomes deathly ill. So they were poisoning him. Like somebody was poisoning him.
Jesus.
They had like dioxin poisoning, like throughout this entire process.
That's
like
nuts.
almost fucking died. And when you went to the doctor, they were like, yeah, somebody's poisoning you. Like you are being poisoned. And I mean, it's clear as day. You see him when he started the elections and you see when he finished, and it's like completely different.
Politics will do that to you.
Right. So they threw the election, right? They basically they grabbed the election. The votes that were put in for Yushchenko didn't count, which was what most people voted on. The majority of the people were voting in Yushchenko, and there was obvious and proven election tampering in the process. And when the other dude, Viktor Yanukovych came into power, immediately when it came out that the ballots were fucked with and that the election was rigged, the entire country came out into the streets and said, hey, absolutely fucking not. Now, it could have stopped there because what happened was there were some protests from some local college students that were like, absolutely, this isn't good.
Right.
And he decided to use military force and go out there with like fucking tanks and, doing the things that...
Bad call.
Yeah, doing the things that tyrannical governments do and say,
Square.
get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Right? And the rest of the country was like, no. Like they started like actually shooting. They went beyond tear gas and actually putting bullets into these people. And that's when the whole fucking country came out and they stood in every nook and cranny of every street in Ukraine and said, give us back the president we voted for. And the next thing you found was that motherfucker on a plane back to Russia and Yushchenko. And then they held another election and Yushchenko won because...
Goddamn.
You see?
Dude.
Okay, so that is the power of everybody coming together, of the collective, of the population just coming in and saying no. And that happened in a nation that was presumably still kind of not... I mean, they're not America. There's not pure democracy. There's still the fear of being shot in the fucking street.
Dude.
By your government, right? And
isn't like the distance between Ukraine and Russia is like less than the distance between California and New York, right?
Yes.
So
yes, absolutely.
They're neighbors.
It is the biggest nation over there that used to belong to Russia, right? Ukraine was it was absolutely the big in the USSR. It was the biggest one. But
I find it crazy because I've seen anti-gun types voting to support the war in Ukraine by wanting to arm the Ukrainians. Isn't that baffling? They were like, they need to defend against this terrible government. And it's like, dude, Washington is further away from California than Russia is from Ukraine.
I know. It's
Those people aren't the same fucking breed.
The same people that are like, absolutely give them whatever they need to be able to defend.
To fight off this tyrannical government that just invaded. They were basically the same like less than 40 years ago. Yeah.
Do we and going back to the whole thing we were talking about
years.
earlier, and then we could wrap this up for sure because we are well into 2 hours now. But if we see what our country is capable of, going into other countries, which the CIA has done, and absolutely dismantling their current government and putting in our own proxy government and creating these wars and these factions within inside of other countries. And if our government is capable of getting in there and doing that and doing the thing that we did in Iraq, right? And just saying, we're going to go in here because we fucking want to, right? Then do you put it past that same government from saying, you know what? I don't like the way the people are acting and we're going to do this thing. And if you don't believe that, then just look at what happened in fucking COVID. They were ripping people out of their businesses, shutting people's businesses down.
Police officers were ripping people out of their businesses and shutting businesses down. Protect and serve people that you're expecting to save you were shutting down businesses and ripping people out of their homes.
And you know why? Because the ones that said they wouldn't do that left.
Yeah, they were
the ones that said that I'm not going to follow those orders left.
Because there was a mandate.
Because there was a mandate. Because they said, hey, if you're going to be on the police force, you got to get the shot, you got to wear a mask, and you got to do all these things. And they were like, no, I'm not going to fucking do that. And so the people that were actually willing to not follow bad orders left. And the people that were remaining stayed and fucked with everybody else.
Do you remember?
And so it happened. We were in it. It just happened.
It just happened.
And so when people are like, the government can't go tyrannical, they fucking did.
They just did.
It happened in 2020.
They shut off the economy.
They shut it down.
They literally flipped a switch. Dude, do you remember? A lot of people forget about this, but do you remember everybody on the political left side saying they weren't going to take Trump's vaccine? And then when Biden came into office, it was, I've gotten vaccinated 16 times.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you remember? Do you guys remember this? Because I remember this vividly. Yeah. I remember the tweets. I remember the people on the news. And it was, fuck Trump and his fucking vaccine. I'll never take that. I'd rather die. Yeah. And then it became, if you don't get Biden's vaccine, we should round you up and kill you.
Yeah. While they're saying that, there's the ticker. There's the ticker on the bottom.
The people dying.
From everybody dying from the flu.
Everybody dying from the flu.
Everybody getting the flu. Anybody that has passed away in a hospital from any exposure to COVID, whether it was directly affiliated with the death or not, here's the ticker. We're going to show you every time you tune into the news, we're going to show you, it's 200,000 to, just so far this month. 261,000. The ticker keeps going up as they keep talking just to terrify the entire fucking nation. People
forget death happens. That's literally the end goal of life.
Yeah.
Do you guys you don't want to die early. You don't want to get sick and die early. But I think everybody forgets that we're all headed one direction.
Yeah.
Fucking death.
Yeah.
And this right here in the middle of it, we're just trying to fucking enjoy it before we end up at death.
Which means don't fuck with me while I'm doing it.
Let me do what the fuck I want to do. Yeah. Stop telling me what I can't do before I die.
Dude. Fuck. It's absolutely fucking insane. And the fact that we're just right on the heels of this and everybody is fucking forgetting about it is don't forget, we have to keep the conversation going because the next time
didn't kill himself.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. We got to continue to talk about this because you've got guys you remember, do you know who Chris Cuomo is?
Yeah.
The CNN anchor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this dude is on record multiple times going, just get the fucking jab. Keep everybody safe. You need to get the vaccine. You're killing people by not getting the vaccine. Got the vaccine. Got fired from fucking CNN for collusion with his brother and whatever the fuck that thing was. And then now is on record on his new show saying, swear to God, and good for him for putting his pride to the side and just being fucking honest about it, where he comes out and he goes, yeah. So I'm having some serious medical issues because I got the vaccine. My doctor said that it is directly affiliated with the vaccine, and the things that are happening to me and happening to my heart right now are because I went and got that vaccine.
Get fucked, bitch.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So now it's dude, the guy that is now the guy that's saying that, and I mean, good for you in a sense of being able to come out and saying, God damn it, I fucked up.
Yeah, injecting virus DNA is a bad idea.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
You could have just
regular vaccines are already sketchy enough.
I know. Yeah. But then the whole bullshit was that they said, these things have been around for 10 years. They've just never been put into practice.
Right, because they only use it on animals for non-man-made diseases.
Right.
You cannot patent a disease from nature. COVID-19 has a fucking patent.
We're just going to take the disease and we're going to put it right back into your body. Everything's going to be. It's going to be. It's going to attach itself.
Wear a mask. Don't wear a mask.
To your mRNA.
It's not good for you. Wear a mask. Yeah. Wait.
And then these little 3D things that they would show you, the 3D modeling that they would show you. Look, the virus goes in, it attaches to your mRNA, and then your body learns how to fight off the virus. And I'm like, you are attaching things
to my DNA.
To my DNA.
So there's a couple things. One, the man who invented the mRNA vaccine is on record in court in a federal court saying that mRNA vaccines were 100%, they were intended, meant, and they were being studied for gene therapy, for altering genetic sequences.
Yep.
Number two, I think I lost track with what I was getting at. I lost my second point.
Damn.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone like the wind.
But what I will say is I remember.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
It had only been tested in fucking animals.
Yeah, that's the key.
Dogs that lived for 7 years.
Yeah, no human trials. Not like, hey, are you willing to do this thing? And to a group of 100 people, yes, I am willing to come in.
All right, let's
and
check.
do this thing by taking a check from you, and then we are going to reevaluate you 10 years from now.
Yeah, we'll
and
check
see
back in 10 years.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was none of that. There's none of that. They were just like, oh, yep, this is going to be good. This is what we're going to do. And I think the funniest part of COVID, the greatest part of it, was
Still so
watching
mad
all the
about
people
all
that
this.
didn't have like firearms and ammunition when they saw the shit hitting the fan,
When they
right?
flooded out to go get guns.
When they flooded out to go. And you're talking about like literally turning on the news and watching liberal news media going, you know what? I never thought I would own a gun, but after seeing all the crazy stuff going on, I think I'm going to get out there and get myself a 6-shooter, the fucking, cool, bro.
I support the current thing.
Yeah, I support the current thing. Everybody is out there doing it. There's lines out the door. Everybody must be doing a thing because they don't feel safe. They don't feel the government is going to protect them. Yeah. They all had that initial fear. They all had that innate fear. And then the second we were like, okay, it's not really a thing. Everybody's going to be fine. Everybody just forgot the importance of being able to arm yourself. But in the middle of it, I just remember thinking, man, what a big fucking win. The fact that even people who were just anti-gun were like, you know what?
Maybe I should get a gun.
I never thought I would own a gun.
Maybe I should get a gun.
Maybe I should get a gun.
Maybe I should get a
because
gun.
it's in a fan. Yeah. And that's all it took. And that is, dude,
When all those riots for St. Floyd happened.
dude. Yeah, for example, it's the smallest possible. It's what could have really happened on such a micro scale, and people don't understand that it is a micro thing that happened, like COVID and the shit that we went through that process. That is like a carnival compared to what would actually
To a
happen
thermonuclear bomb.
Yes, if the government actually started going tyranny, if things genuinely like bad, right? All you got was a little nugget, and you were like, "Yeah, I gotta have a gun. Gotta get the ammo."
If I hadn't interacted with these types of human beings, I would not believe they existed.
No,
I straight up wouldn't. Like if you told me about human beings like this, and I just hadn't experienced it, I'd be like, "You're lying to me.
There's no way.
That's a joke.
Yeah,
That doesn't make sense." But I'll tell you what. Flags all of a sudden change from Ukraine flag to Israel flag to Palestine flag real fucking quick.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, Russia even.
Dude.
There's like a big pro-Russia push now amongst, oh God, who's I have a hard time keeping track of who's supporting who now. I
support the current thing.
We definitely have like Democrats that are pushing the war in Ukraine, and because Democrats are like, yes, Ukraine war, give all of our country's resources to Ukraine. We need none of them.
Dude.
Then we have even Republicans going, yes, Russia. Russia is doing the right thing. They're taking back what is theirs, and we feel bad for them for some reason. You see it.
Right.
There is a part of the conservative party who is like genuinely going, yeah, man. Yeah, we got it for, they got a little mini, maybe not a full hard on for Russia, but a little semi going on.
Right.
And I think it's only because we see the other side of the aisle going, we support Ukraine. Well, fuck, we can't support the same thing.
Can't support it.
I can't support the same fucking thing because you're on the other side of the aisle. I can't agree on anything.
I hate you because you don't agree with me, so I have to not agree with you.
I guarantee it if conservatives came out with it, I promise we'll wrap it up right after this. But I guarantee you that if we just had a little crystal ball that we could rub and if we had just the conservative party go pro-Palestine.
Dude, if the conservative pro 2A side got to pro-Palestine first, all of them would be pro-Israel.
They would all be pro-Israel.
Yeah.
That whole side would be like,
yeah, what? No. Yeah, no.
Yeah. They'd be like, well, I don't know, maybe we would have, but because you're over there supporting Palestine. And I just want, from a social experiment, how fucking amazing would it be if we all just stood back and said, free Palestine. The second we started doing it as Republicans were like, free Palestine, holding up the flags.
I don't think it would work now.
Marching with them in the streets, they would be like, wait a minute.
I don't know if it'd work now.
I don't like that. I don't like that you think the same thing that I think.
So I legitimately think it wouldn't work now.
Why?
Because of cognitive dissonance.
Okay.
Because they're so invested already in the free Palestine thing.
Got it.
That they couldn't turn back on that even due to the hatred of the other
But before
thing.
the decisions were made.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Before the decision, but then
before
that's
the
the key.
commies decided it was free Palestine.
Yeah, because everybody was like, yeah, Israel, like, of course you don't want Hamas coming in here and killing innocent people. And then they decided at some point in time that they were like, wait a minute. I don't like this. I'm going this direction because the Republicans are so pro-Israel that we are going to take this direction. Yeah, it's an it'd be a very interesting social experiment just to get all the Republicans out marching in the street right when this first went down to go free Palestine.
We should do it with the next thing.
Dude, if I could
with
go
whatever the next thing is, we should just try and think in the mind of a fucking retarded collegiate like college student communist and just go, what are they gonna fucking support?
Yes,
we need to support it first.
Yes,
and take it from them.
Yes,
and then when they support the other thing, we agree with them.
WWCCD. What would college communists do? Yes, agreed.
It's a patch. We're making it.
We're making it. What would college communists do? And
no, I have more.
Okay.
So you got me on the Palestine thing. So you know the. There's a current thing, all eyes on, I don't know. It's all eyes on some part of Palestine right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've heard it. Yeah.
So Carly showed it to me last
all
night.
eyes, is it Rafah?
Rafah. That's
all
it.
eyes on Rafah.
Rafah.
Yeah.
It did have an F in it. Rafah.
Yes. Yeah. Rafah.
Rafah. So Carly showed me a post, an all eyes on Rafah thing. And she was like, what do you think about this? I'm curious your thoughts on it. And I looked at it and I said, fuck them both.
Fuck them both.
And no, so seriously, for 1 second, let's stop. It is horrible. It's horrible what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's horrible what both sides are lying about. It's horrible about what both sides are doing. Because they're both fucking lying and they're both doing horrendous shit.
Yeah.
And they live right next to each other. And now here's the fucking problem. They're doing this because of ancient fucking texts and they can't just get over it.
Yep.
Their whole argument is fucking dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole
thing's fucking dumb. Hey, you believe something that I don't really like, and you came. I mean, to be fair, the Israelis did come in and kind of fucking take land.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Swoop. And I'm pretty sure. I'm not a theologist, but I'm pretty sure according to the Torah. Is it the Torah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not even supposed to be there. I could be wrong. I'm not a geologist.
I'm not a theologist. I get where you're going with it. I'm not a geologist.
I don't know much about rocks, but I like them. Anyways, I just needed to get that off my chest.
Yeah. That's really what like all the politicians should just be standing up from the rooftops and shouting it. Just the whole thing's fucking dumb.
It's
You're
like, hey,
both
you,
dumb. Yeah.
You're fucking stupid. You're also fucking stupid. Forgive each other.
Yeah.
Maybe give some back of their land.
Are children dying?
Yeah.
Then knock it the fuck off.
Then knock it the fuck off, asshole.
Yeah. Period.
Hey, stop killing kids, asshole.
Yeah. Were you happy or sad when I want to get your take on
I
this.
wanted to just knee jerk say something, but I don't know what you're about to say.
Were you happy or sad? Do you remember? So you remember Iran, Israel, that whole thing that happened, right? So Iran had to retaliate based on what Israel did.
Of course, because we're all children.
Right. Or Israel had to retaliate based on what Iran did, right? I forget who did what first, but I remember looking at that after like Israel attacked Iran and then Iran attacked Israel is what it was. And then Israel had their counterattack and then Iran said, and we're all waiting for it, right? We're all waiting because it was, I remember like kind of bated breath, like going, fuck, what's going to happen? Is this it? Is this it?
Am I grabbing my
And then
cape?
Iran said, that's good. That was a comparable retaliation. We accept that and we are now even. There was a huge part of me that was like, fuck.
Okay, so I had no idea about this because I don't watch the news. Okay. I know I should. Stop hassling me about it. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it happened where
that's the most adult thing I've ever heard of a fucking country doing.
I know. Yeah, Israel dropped a bomb, and then Iran dropped one, and then maybe it was the other fucking way around. And then both countries went, you know what?
We're good.
We're good. That was good. That was about eye for an eye. We'll just move on from there.
That's what I'm fucking talking about.
Literally the fucking end of it.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm fucking talking about.
And I know. And that's what you're talking about, which is like, hey, can't you just fucking say, hey, you did this, and let's all fucking
Let's
get
get
along.
all of our politicians just have a fucking huge boxing match and we'll solve it.
Yeah.
Do you know how much better you feel about an individual when you just kick the shit out of them and they kick the shit out of you?
How cool would this be, though? Is like, hey, man, if you guys want to get into this fucking war, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene was doing with the whole Ukraine thing, she's like, you want to continue funding this war? Absolutely. We will write checks out of the United States government all day.
You go fight it.
You're going to have to go over there and fight it.
You go fight in the trenches.
It's great.
Go get fucking Mudfoot.
It's fucking great.
Go get gangrene.
Dude,
in the
that
fucking
would be
trenches.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
It would be like, hey, you and your family and all your children, we're going to, from here on out, we're going to elect a new government. New government's coming in. They will be elected. And the second that they're elected, you guys are going to go train and you guys are going to go run the military.
Well,
you go fight that fucking
It'd be
war.
super sick too, because then you have like at most like 100, 200 dudes and maybe some chicks in there too.
It would just be melee.
But like then we could have it like on like a couple battlefields and we could sell tickets, right? It's politicians fighting war.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we just like...
And the country whose politicians win the war wins.
Right.
Yeah.
They win.
Yeah. There's no fucking Air Force. There's no nothing.
No.
It's like you just get the politicians out on the battlefield.
Arms.
Small arms.
It's small arms.
Small arms.
Maybe a tank.
Okay.
Maybe a tank and some RPGs and stuff like that, right?
Okay. And you just get the politicians, all the politicians from this side, all the politicians from this side. You put them on one battlefield and you say, go.
It's like Milsim West.
Yes. Yeah. Almost like a Hunger Games.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we're going to solve this real easy. There's no reason to send out other people's children to fight your stupid ass war because you disagree with someone.
That's right.
Oh.
May the best man win.
May the best man win.
Yes. And are we going to argue about fucking whether or not alpha is toxic masculinity or if we are going to continue to go down that road of betas? Because if you have to fight the war, you will be as alpha as you possibly fucking can.
Yeah. You're going to stop eating motor oil. I'll tell you that much.
I'll tell you what else is we're going to stop electing the fucking betas like fucking Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, whatever the fucker, OAC.
Can I be honest with you?
OAC?
AOC. Can I be honest with you?
What?
She's kind of hot.
Yeah, of course she is.
Kind of crazy hot.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
She's got that crazy hot to her.
Yeah,
I'm not saying she's crazy hot. I'm saying she's crazy, comma, pause, hot.
Crazy, comma, and hot.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I know. Yeah, and she fucking knows it.
Oh, yeah.
That's why anytime anybody's like, you are a communist, she'll say, you just want to fuck me. Literally. Like, have you heard her response? Dude, I swear to God. She didn't say the word fuck, but
You just want to sleep with me or something like that?
Exactly. You just want me. They're just saying that because they want me. I swear to you. She's on record saying that. Look it up. I promise you. She didn't like what an individual was saying. She said, he just doesn't like the fact that I'm not fucking
I'm going to start
him.
saying that to people.
Yeah.
Like when people say anything bad about us, about Tacticon, about me and my training, I'm just going to go, you just want to fuck me, dude.
You just want to fuck
You're just mad because I'm not fucking you.
Yeah. That's essentially exactly where she went with that. So for
These are our politicians, ladies.
These are politicians like this, like we need women's rights. Don't take away our rights. You're using the fact that men just want to fuck you. And that's why you're in the position you're in. That's why you think they're not agreeing with you because they want to sleep with you and they can't. Huh. Yeah. That's interesting that you would promote all this equality and all this stuff, and you just assume that the only reason why we think the way that we do is because we can't bone you. And the answer is you're probably fucking right. But don't say stuff like that.
But don't say it out loud.
Don't say it out loud. That's not right. But like if we're talking about getting who would we elect? We would elect...
Dude, the strongest motherfuckers.
The strongest motherfuckers that you could possibly... Because you knew that the politicians would have to go fight that fucking war. Because that's the agreement. These are the new ROE. If we can create rules of engagement that say, you are not allowed to use a 40 Mike cannon against a human, it has to go against a vehicle, against a piece of equipment.
We just give them blades,
right?
Just give them blades.
So if we can make rules of engagement that state that you're not allowed to use chemical warfare. Chemical warfare is, cruel and unusual, and you're not allowed to torture people. If all these ROE can be in place, why can't we change the ROE just to say, hey, new ROE, dude. The people that start the war, finish the war.
They fight it. Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And then the country's politicians wins.
And they meet on a battlefield with bladed arms.
Yes.
And they go to town.
And I will tell you this much right now, America would not be America anymore if that shit happened. So that's a bad idea.
Nope.
That's a bad fucking idea.
I'm telling you, 1v1 versus Putin versus fucking Biden. It's not going good.
It's not going to go good.
It's not going good.
It's not going good. Yeah. Can you imagine just a 1v1 Putin v. Biden? Good God, man.
God.
That would be a total shit show.
And with that,
we bid thee a queef.